My mom. Yes, and your mom. I'm camera shy.
Yeah, well, get over that.
Good evening, everybody. Thank you for coming. Ted, would you mind leading in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Where's the flag?
Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for coming. It's great to see so many young faces here tonight. I want to welcome our two young ladies at the end of the table, Mrs. McGinnis and Mrs. Hughes, or Miss Hughes and Miss McGinnis, sorry. Okay, we're going to do a roll call.
Mrs. Ogalis,
Present.
Mr. Amorando,
Present.
Mr. Ferrioli,
Here.
Mr. Imbasiani,
Present.
Mrs. Kennedy,
Present.
Mrs. Adams,
Present.
Mr. Annucci,
Present.
Mrs. Donnelly,
Present.
Mrs. Manzi,
Present.
Mr. Middleman,
Present.
Ms. Hughes,
Present.
Ms. McGinnis.
Present.
Thank you.
Where's Jill here? Jill here? Thank you. Okay. All right, a motion to suspend the business meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you. I apologize about the last meeting.
That's fine, thank you.
My miscommunication. Thank you to the Board of Education for inviting me here this evening to present the financial statement audit for the community. Each year, the Board of Education...
It's on.
Is it on?
Can anybody hear?
Can you hear me?
Yep.
Can you hear me now?
Salad.
You gotta just be close to it.
Yeah, touch
That's
it.
all. It's on.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay, good, thank you. So for the community, each year, the Board of Education is required to ask an external auditor to conduct an audit of the district's financial records. We completed our audit of the district's financial records as of June 30th, 2015. We've rendered a number of documents to the Board of Education. The first and most important one is the financial statements themselves. It's a general purpose financial statement with an unmodified opinion. To the Board of Education and the community, it's the highest level of assurance that you get, that we feel, the external auditor, that the financial statements fairly present the condition of the school district. The condition of the school district is good. The district works really hard to maintain their spending within the budget that's approved by the community, so I commend them on that. Because of their good financial condition, when it comes time to borrow, they have a very high rating with Moody's. And so to the extent that they don't have their property tax monies in hand to spend for the education.
Sorry.
We almost did you okay?
Sorry.
It's okay. To spend for the educational needs of the students, and they do need to borrow temporarily, as all Suffolk County school districts need to do. Their borrowing rate is between 0.27% and 0.32%, and that comes from having a strong financial condition. So I give you a lot of credit towards that. Your budget, as far as the tax cap calculation, we've audited that, so you were within the tax cap calculation for 14-15, and the same for 15-16. You were able to go ahead and fund the two capital reserves that the community approved. and that gives you the opportunity to do the work around the facilities that you need to do without having to borrow and incur additional costs for that, so that's also a very good thing. The thing that's different on the financial statement from previous years is on the accrual basis financial statement, so the board might remember there's two sets of statements, one that mirrors the district's books and records, the modified accrual, and then the accrual basis financial statements, which are very much like a commercial entity, capital assets, and long-term liabilities, whether they're paid for in the out of the budget or not. The difference between this year's presentation and last year's is the implementation of GASB 68 and 71. And without getting into the details of that, you might remember that the profession called for the full disclosure of whatever your share of the pension asset was for the teacher's retirement system and your share of the liability for the employee's retirement system. It's a reporting, there are two numbers for reporting purposes. It does not change the way that you pay the board determined contribution into each of the systems. And at this point, the rates have come down a little bit, but not significantly based upon this information. And since it's a new implementation, there are several schedules that are part of your financial statement that are here that were not in last year's presentation. There are three other documents that we provide to the Board of Education, even though the monies that the children use for the educational purposes, extracurricular activities, are not under the governance of the business office. The State Education Department wants us to audit those, and everything seems to be in order with those. Those are cash basis financial statements that we've given to the Board of Education. In the aggregate, there's about $725,000 worth of money that goes through the various clubs and activities. There's bylaws, there's charters, there are faculty advisors and student presidents attached to each of those clubs. We've also given the Board of Education a communication in conjunction with the audit if we encountered any difficulty in getting information from the district. If we propose journal entries and the district does not want to record them, which was not the case, we would be communicating that to you. And we had a very limited number of entries that we proposed, so I compliment the business office on the job that they did. The last document that we give to you is what's known as a management letter. And the whole audit starts with a risk assessment. Those are the controls over the financial transactions, and this district works very hard to have a good set of controls in place. Checks and balances over receipts, disbursements, payroll, benefits, all those things. This is a very big business, so you should take comfort in the fact that we're not issuing a communication that has material weaknesses or significant deficiencies. We're issuing what's known as a management letter, and that management letter talks about some internal control observations that we've noted. We noted them in previous years. We did not note anything new this year, and I hope you recognized when you read through that management letter some of the additional procedures that the district's put in place in order to remediate some of the things that we've brought to the district's attention. And this is for the Board of Education to have an understanding. So I'm pleased with the direction that the district's moving in with respect to those comments also. So I don't know if there were any questions from the Board of Education?
At this point?
Does the board have any questions?
No, I think we had a thorough briefing. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
I do have a question. I did have a question.
Sorry, we do have a
I
question.
don't know if it's more for you or for Sharon. Actually. One thing off the top of my head I noticed with the lunch program, there seems to be quite a deficit, Sharon. More so than it was last year. Is there any way we can find out what caused that deficit?
Yes, you already have a response to that, correct, Ms. Sanders?
Yes, okay. So the deficit, the shortfall, the operating shortfall for this year was about $152,000 before the budgeted transfer. The year before, you're correct, it was about $12,000.
Exactly.
And what's happening now is districts that are running their own in-house school lunch programs are finding that the participation is not necessarily what it was in the past because of the healthy meal selection that needs to be applied. And the other thing is with respect to not using a food management service company and using employees of this district, you're looking at increases in the salaries and increase in benefit costs that may be contained a little bit differently if you were negotiating a contract with a food service management company. And so most of the school districts that I audit that have their own in-house program without a food service management company are in the same situation as this district. And to the extent that you want to continue your program, which I'm sure you want to do, it's looking at the size of the transfer from the operating budget to the school lunch fund in an amount that will cover what the expected shortfall would be.
I also have another question too. I was actually looking at OBMS in comparison to RMS, and I'm not sure what page I found it on. It had to do with the clubs. Would you happen to know what page that is?
That's going to be in the
So
smaller
it's in the
bound.
smaller report, small bound one, and it's going to be on bottom of page 3 and the top of page 4. Do you want me to show you this one?
Oh, yes, that's exactly what. Okay, so now we're looking at Ronkonkoma, cash balance of $40,579 as of June 30th, 2015. And then when we look at OBMS, we're looking at $174,396,000.
No, that's the total for
That's
all the
total.
schools.
Oh, that's the total. Oh, I'm sorry.
This is for OPMS right there.
Oh, so then, oh, okay, so then, all right, so then Ronkonkoma is actually working double.
Right, so they have more activities going on at this point for which they collected money. And since it's a cash basis financial statement, the thing that's very difficult, a lot of clubs may have collections that take place prior to the end of the year, and then funds are dispersed afterwards because the bills come in during the month of July for June. So that's the difficulty in looking at this report. It's the presentation that we're required to give. I would prefer to give you an accrual basis statement so it's more meaningful, but that's typically why you would see higher balances in one particular location as compared to the other.
And then because I know on the middle school levels, pictures are run through PTA, and even at the elementary level. Pictures through the high school, is that run through yearbook, or is that run on a separate entity?
I'm not sure offhand without looking at my notes who would be running that, so I would have to really get back to you on that.
Okay, because we have a cash balance of $13,649
I could
on
get you more
yearbook.
information.
Is that usually the balances that are maintained in that account? Usually at the end of the year for a yearbook?
It varies. It really varies from year to year. If you wanted an analysis of what the balances are, I could get that for you also.
I think you mentioned in one of your letters about the capital assets and tagging the inventory. And we're doing that, but we need to do a little bit better of a job doing that.
Yeah, and this is a very comprehensive exercise. It starts with a physical inventory. It's making sure that everything that comes into district has a tag that's going to go out to the various locations, and it's affixed to the property once it comes in, and then it's entered into a fixed asset inventory log, which is maintained. And so I think the district's doing better, but I think it's just a very large process that should be continually addressed. That's why I have it referenced.
Gotcha.
And the Director of Purchasing did start a physical inventory at year end.
Oh, okay, great. And I think that's it. I was only able to look through, some of it. So if I have any questions, I'll direct them to Sharon.
Okay.
Yeah, I just got this yesterday.
Okay.
So I just went through it quickly. But thank you very much. Does the board have any questions?
Nope. Thank you, John.
Okay, very
Kudos
good. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Nice job.
Thank you, Ms. Sanders.
And you stand.
Yes. You're not kidding.
Motion, calling a motion to accept the financial statement.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank you. Are we reconvening and calling to, going into business?
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, we're going to the approval of the minutes of October 13, 2015.
Motion.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Approval of the minutes of October 20, 2015, special meeting.
Motion.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I abstain.
Okay, we're moving.
One abstention.
One
One
abstention.
abstention. Okay.
Who was abstaining?
Ted. He was not present at the meeting. Okay, so we're moving over to school board recognition.
October is officially declared as School Board Recognition Month. And these folks give a tremendous amount of time as volunteers to do right by our kids in our district, to make sure that our programs are what we need to make sure that our kids move forward into their futures with the best education that they can have. And so we're really honored tonight to be able to thank them. From central office administration, Dean said he wanted to give them flowers, so behind them all is just a quick thank you from central office administration. The flowers are theirs to take home tonight and hopefully bloom for the entire time that they're on the board and then beyond that. So, you know, it's a voluntary position, it's a thankless position, because no matter what decisions we make, we're never completely 100% right, because there's always a different viewpoint as to what the decision could be, and it's really a very difficult position to always try to make the best decision for kids. So I just have to thank them, because they spend a lot of time with me and with our central office administration, and they are volunteers and they do wonderful things for the community. So thank you so much for all that you do.
Thank you.
All right, I think we also have some other folks to do some presentations. Mr. Pollock, do you want to go first? Do you want our kids to sing first to our Board of Education? Completely up to you.
I was thinking we just talk about that. I think we'll let the kids go.
All right, so we have risers for you. We're all ready to go. That's exciting. We're back there.
Good evening. My name is Beth Owens. I'm the director of the 7th Street Singers a cappella group. This is a group of 31 students who come together every 8th period to rehearse a cappella music, meaning that we solely use our voices to produce the sound. Last year we were fortunate to compete in the International Championship for High School a cappella, and we placed into the semifinal round. And this year we are auditioning again to be accepted into the competition. So tonight we'd like to perform for you our audition set list. I'm just going to give you the titles and recognize a few students, and then I'm going to let them take over, because as part of being in a student a cappella group, they direct themselves after we've taken it from the classroom in performance. They run the show. So, so our first selection for you is going to be called Mercy. These are all from the pop genre. This is by the artist Duffy. This features Gianna DeRusso, Stephanie, give a wave, Stephanie Page, Therese Saravia. On vocal percussion, we have Ian Walsh. Our next song following that is called Lightweight by the artist Demi Lovato. This song features Danielle DiDrama, Haley Missler, and Steph Page again. And on vocal percussion, we have Brian Vennard. And for our final piece, we have a mashup of the song Uptown Funk with another song called Lips Are Moving by Megan Trainor. And that features Peter Konsovich and Taylor West. And on vocal percussion, again, we have Ian Walsh. And then they'll close out with our little 7th Street jingle that's been around for a long time. And we'll do that. So thank you very much. And without further ado, the 7th Street Singers.
1, 2, 3, 4.
2, 3, 4. Your lips are moving, your lips are moving, your lips are moving, and you lie, lie, lie. Your lips are moving, your lips are moving, your lips are moving, and you lie, lie, lie.
This hit that ice cold, Michelle Pfeiffer, that white gold. This one's for them hood girls, them good girls, straight masterpieces, styling, wildin', living it up in the city. Got Chuck's on with saying no wrong, got a kiss for self, so pretty.
You can buy me diamond earrings and nine, 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 nine. Smell her on your collar, so
break it down. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Saturday night we in the spot. Don't believe me, just watch.
I know you like your lips are moving. Tell me, do you think I'm done?
Don't believe me, just watch.
I might be young, but I ain't stupid. Talking round in circles with
Don't believe me, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch. Your lips are moving, just watch. Your lips are moving, just watch. Lie, lie, lie.
Stop. Wait a minute. Fill my cup, put some soda in it. Take a sip, sign the check. Julio, get your stretch. Right to Harlem, Hollywood,
Jackson, Mississippi.
We show up, we gon' show out. Smooth and fresh, I'll skip
You
it.
can buy me diamond earrings and go nine,
It's
nine,
no fight, man. I'm too hot. Hot damn. Make a drag more in time, man. I'm too hot. Hot damn. Say my name, you know who I am. Too hot. Hot damn. And the band about that money, break it down. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Girls hit you hallelujah. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Uptown funk don't give it to you. Saturday night we in the spot.
Don't believe me, just watch. I know you like your lips are moving. Tell me, do you think I'm dumb?
Don't believe me, just watch.
I might be young, but I ain't stupid. Talking round in circles with
Don't
you.
believe me, just watch.
Don't believe me, just watch. Your lips are moving, just watch. Your lips are moving, just watch. You lie, lie, lie.
All right, now, we're the 7th Street Singers, and we're about to take this mess up and break it down. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Your turn. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
I know you like
Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
Tell me, do you think I'm dumb?
Uptown, funk you up.
I might be young,
Uptown, funk you
but I
up.
ain't
Uptown, funk you up.
stupid. Saturday night we in the spot. Don't believe it, just watch. Know you like your lips are moving. Tell me, do you think I'm dumb?
Don't believe me, just
I
watch.
might be young, but I ain't stupid. Talking round in circles with
Don't
you.
believe me, just watch. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
Your lips are moving.
Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up. Uptown, funk you up.
Remember the address for a sound so sweet. 7th Street, yeah.
Thank you, Mrs. Owens. That was fabulous. Your kids are wonderful. Can we give them one more round of applause as they leave? Thank you so much. One of the most wonderful things about Connetquot High School is the level of excellence that we have in our fine arts programs. We have excellence all over the school, but one of the things that we do significantly better than most high schools on Long Island is our fine arts piece. One of the first programs that I was blessed enough to see as a superintendent, brand new last year, I had Mr. John Lasher walk me through his program. And it was day 2 of school, and we walked into the sculpture lab, and I had never seen a sculpture lab in a high school before. It was a college-level sculpture lab, day 2 of school, and we already had our kids throwing pottery, and the right way, not throwing it around the room, throwing pottery on a wheel. It was one of the most outstanding things I had ever seen, and tonight we are pleased to present to our board members, handmade by our students, these beautiful leaves of fall that are tributes that they can use in their homes. And Mr. Lasher couldn't be here tonight, but this is a culminating class. This is a commencement level class, and what you saw was commencement level kids, but it's really the build of kindergarten all the way up to senior high school, and the hard work of our teachers and our students, and the excellence in preparation that they do every day, and the lessons that they give our kids every day. And you just saw that on the stage, and this is just another example of the excellence that our students produce at Connetquot High School. So, Mr. Costa, you want to tell the board members who actually made these for them?
Good evening, everyone.
Good evening.
Ms. Pascal actually has a little blurb that we prepared for you this evening. The following students are responsible for these lovely leaves that we have presented to you this evening. Their hard work and dedication is evident in their quality of work. Please accept the following gifts as a sign of appreciation for all the hard work the school board and the superintendent have done for the Connetquot School District. The students who made these creations this evening are Kelly Lavdis. Kelly here? Sydney Alvarado, Lindsay Melville, and Kelsey Sullivan. Respectfully, Mr. P.
I know, it's nice, it's gorgeous. So you're gonna like one too, look, you're gonna get one. Guys, hold up your leaves.
But look the way it's out in the back.
Well, we don't want to see the back.
Back's
See the
nice,
front.
too.
Okay, hang on, just don't put it by your face, ready? I'm gonna take a couple. Here you go. Yeah. Nice. Holy smokes. That's a lot of them. Okay, thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, Mr. Pollock.
Good evening, everybody. First off,
I know that Mr. Lasher and I were talking about a way, of course, to show off the arts, and I just want to thank Mr. Pasquarella and also, I'm sorry, the music teacher's name? Miss Owens, right, Miss Owens, for preparing for tonight. I know that the teaching in the art department is outstanding. I have to tell you, my son was an art student in his high school, and when I mentioned to the art teacher that I work in Connetquot, his jaw dropped at based on the ceramics program in particular. But we do have quite a reputation out there throughout the island. I prepared a statement, so forgive me. I'm here on behalf of the Connetquot Principals and Directors Association. I represent 22 principals, assistant principals, and the directors of Connetquot. Each of us in our association has a specific role to ensure the stability and future of this wonderful community. Though each of us does our work in a single building or in a single department, it's our collective effort for Connetquot's children that bonds us. This is work which we believe, in which we believe, of which we are proud, and to which we are so dedicated. We are the leaders in the buildings and our respective departments, and we gladly take the responsibility in leading our individual schools to new heights. Whether it's guiding teachers through the latest curriculum changes, keeping the focus on our students while protecting the staff from the current negativity spewed upon our schools, or ensuring that each of our students is given every opportunity to maximize their school experience. We take great pride in taking on this heavy responsibility because it is what we love. We definitely consider it our calling. So we are here today to thank you for supporting this work. The musical performance in our project presented to you are symbolic of just one K-12 program that you support. They are just a sample of the riches of Connetquot. We also understand that serving as a member of the Board of Education is often thankless, which I guess is why we have to set aside a day to thank you. Probably should do it more often, but you are volunteers, spending time away from your families, and you often hear from people who are unhappy for a reason that may or may not be in your control. We believe that your decisions are what you feel are certainly in the best interest of children, and it's why we appreciate the time and dedication that you provide, that you demonstrate as a member of the board. So our group, we had a conversation about how we can appropriately acknowledge Board of Education Appreciation Night. In addition to the artistic samples demonstrated tonight, we decided that in order to demonstrate a true sense of our work and the work of our amazing teaching staff, anything we bring here just to show you would be superficial at best. Therefore, the Board of Education, for Board of Education Appreciation Night, we are proactively seeking a visit from you. We're so grateful that you come to our concerts, our games, our special events. However, these events, as well as the samples you enjoyed tonight, are final products of learning. It's what happens day to day. The moment-to-moment learning process that matters most to children. We're eager to take you for a closer look in the processes in which I speak. So, we encourage you. Contact us directly, email, telephone, and arrange a time for us. If you can't make it during the school day due to your other work obligations, we'll be happy to meet with you before or after school. You'll just want to sit and talk, walk the building, so you may see firsthand why our buildings are sources of pride for all of us, our teachers, central administration, and for you. What you will see is your work too, and we would enjoy sharing it. Doing so is the best way we can show appreciation for your service. Thank you, and each of us look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you.
I look forward to visiting all the buildings. That's going to be on my bucket list this year. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
pleasure tonight of inducting the inaugural members of the Superintendent's 100 Club into the Superintendent's 100 Club. So one of the things that we celebrate is 100% attendance, which means you sent your child to school sick. No. But basically that means that a child is in school every single day, and that is such a special event that we actually acknowledge that very often at graduations and moving up. And I wanted to take the opportunity because we get to honor kids at all different levels for the athletic events that they do, for the arts, for the theater, for the concerts. And it's much more difficult to honor kids who really made the ultimate sacrifice to really do well in their educational pursuits, in their academic pursuits. So I am so pleased tonight to be able to honor these students who got 100 on a variety of Regents exams. So I'm going to read the child's name and I'm going to let you know what they actually got 100 on. So Amanda Adair got 100 on the Physics Regents exam last year. Is Amanda here? That's a really hard one to get 100 on, so Amanda, congratulations. Okay, we're moving upstage, so Amanda, you're coming upstage.
Okay. We're gonna stay. We're gonna go upstairs. Everybody.
All right, Leanna Rose Arceri, she got 100 on the geometry Regents. Leanna, are you here tonight? Matthew Paul Augulis got 100 on the New York State Global History and Geography Regents. I'm going to mess up this last name. I know I am. Timothy Ciavarella? Chivarella got 100 on the Earth Science Regents last year. I knew I was going to mess it up. I'm sorry. Thank you. Congratulations. Taylor Cole got 100 on the Global History and Geography Regents. Brianna Kelly got 100 on the Living Environment Regents. Juan Lasso got 100 on the Living Environment Regents. Christopher Lopez got 100 on the U.S. History and Government Regents.
Thank you.
Stephanie Lupo got 100 on the Chemistry Regents exam. Jamie Maza got 100 on the Physics Regents exam.
Congratulations. Nice job. Good job.
Christina Miro got 100 on the Algebra 1 Common Core Regents exam.
That's a super job. Congratulations.
You can teach these guys.
She could probably be teaching it.
Dogan O'Curl got 100 on the Geometry Regents exam. Jenna Phillips received 100 on the U.S. History and Government Regents exam. Abigail Savit got a 100 on the Chemistry Regents exam. Christopher Schaller received a 100 on the Living Environment Regents exam. Thomas Vaughn received a 100 on the Algebra 2 Trigonometry Regents exam. Zachary Vero received a 100 on the Living Environment Regents exam. William Waring received a 100 on the Geometry Regents exam. And then we have 3 students who received 100 on 2 separate Regents exams. So we have Anthony Menino, who received a 100 on the Chemistry Regents exam and a 100 on the Global History and Geography Regents exam.
Smile, keep it.
Good job.
Alec O'Brien received a 100 on the Chemistry Regents exam and the Global History and Geography Regents exam. And Mit Patel received a 100 on the Global History and Geography Regents exam and the Chemistry Regents exam. Let's join them on stage there.
You guys on the second step. Can you guys move over? Stop there. Be friends now. Make friends. Thank you. This is great. All right, those of you in the back, make windows. Get in between the 2 heads in front of you. Yeah, whatever. All right, we're going to have to stitch. You know how that works, right? All right, everybody here. 1, 2, 1. Move. One more time. Looks so good. That's one. Okay, that's great.
Congratulations.
Can I get the 3 guys that scored 100? guys.
want to take a picture. No. Or just you two guys.
Just you two. Double two, the 200 club.
Where's the other guy?
There was 3 that got
Right.
200.
One of them wasn't here.
Oh, he's down here? Okay. Ready? You guys do any tutoring?
I have to say, the future looks bright. What a wonderful group of students. Let's give them one more round of applause, please.
I just realized when you're filming these guys, you're filming me over there playing with my nose.
Kansas City 1,
Cut it out.
Met 0. Still early.
That's not what the district divides cities for. Just kidding.
I'm going to ask Ms. Angela Breslin to come on down and help me out here. Wow, what a great night.
Sure. Tonight, the board is recognizing the Battle of the Books team. These are students in grades 6 through 9 that read 8 pre-selected books that all libraries battle from June 1st through August 1st this year. And we compete against 41 other libraries, and they do this for the fun of it. It's a lot of work, a lot of dedication. We meet once to twice a week, and they're just a really great, dedicated bunch of kids. And we have 4 or 5 students that have come back to mentor teams that used to be on our Battle of the Books teams. And it's just really a great opportunity for them, and we're very proud of them.
So I'm going to call you down, and I'm going to ask you to go up on the stage so we can take a photo opportunity again. Amanda Adair. Sure. Thank you. Congratulations.
She's one of our mentors.
Julia Di Cristofaro.
Like you.
And she's wearing our shirt this year. We were the Jiggly Jellos.
Congratulations. Oh, thank you for working so hard. Congratulations. Rebecca Farrell. Olivia Hillary. David Hopke. Rebecca Imbasiani. Caitlin McCourt. Lawrence McCourt. Courtney Morga. No, the whole family? Okay. So we have triplets, Genevieve, Joseph, and Rebecca, not triplets, but not here.
Not
so
here,
Moulton. Gregory Nispon. How do you say your last name, Gregory?
Nick Bond.
Nick Pond, okay. It's a hard C. Okay. Good job. Natalie Page. Amanda Perone. Joshua Perone. Julia Randazzo. Emily Rakowski. CJ Ryder. Abigail Savit. Are you one of our mentors, Abigail?
Yeah.
Awesome, thank you. Thank you for helping the younger folks. And Jack Sullivan.
There's just one other person I'd like to call up here is my assistant coach, my assistant librarian, Dina Oliveira.
You say former student?
Yeah, it's been around a long time.
Yeah.
Nice job.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
When you get on the second sections.
Look at you hat.
I wore my red shirt.
You can be right underneath that string, be right in the middle.
What's your favorite book? Anybody have any favorite books? Any recommended reading lists for me? Okay, that's it. Only one recommendation.
What I do on Sunday mornings. Tell them my secrets.
Can't see him. Can't see him. That's expensive. Yeah, that's fine. All right. Don't put it in front of your face. I like that shirt, man. What does that say? The Jiggly Jello? Is that the name of the team?
Yeah.
I love it. All right, gonna stitch. Ready? One. Don't move. Two. One. Okay, again. Congratulations.
Awesome. Well, where'd everybody go?
Hi, everybody. Give them one more round of applause as they leave. This is our teacher, and it's a wonderful teacher.
Please come back.
All right, so now we're moving on to our first report of the year, girls. You're up. Student government.
Sorry to put you on the spot.
We had Safe Halloween this past Saturday, which was the 24th. We had over 200 students volunteer to help, and we had over 400 students come and trick-or-treat. Also, we're starting a local food drive next Monday for all the less fortunate in the community.
On November 4th, we're going to be sending a group of students to a leadership conference at Smithtown East High School.
And then on December 19th, we have a character breakfast for all the younger students. There'll be like Mickey Mouses and Minnie Mouses for them to take pictures and hang out with. And then I just want to say a quick thank you to...
Hold on 1 second, ladies. We're going to give you some respect. There's some people that- Hold on, Tom.
Start over? I'll start over.
No, you don't have to start over. Seeing you from the same Halloween.
Until I break it. Get it?
Take two.
There you go.
There we go.
Safe Halloween was this past Saturday, the 24th of October. We had over 200 students volunteer at this event and over 400 trick-or-treaters come. We're starting a local food drive next Monday for the less fortunate in the community.
Thank you.
On November 4th, we're going to be sending a group of students to Smithtown East High School for a leadership conference. And then on December 19th, we're having a character breakfast for younger students to come hang out with Mickey Mouse and Minnie Mouse and eat breakfast. And then I just want to say a quick thank you to all the faculty and students who helped with the senior trip collection. It was a great success.
Ms. Hughes.
Thank you, ladies.
Can you talk more about the November 4th, the thing that's happening on November 4th?
It's actually new this year. It's just the group of students are getting together to learn about like decision making and different leadership skills that they can use in their life and every day. And there'll be different mentors there talking to them, and then they'll have groups together and just learn about like athletes helping athletes is similar. It's similar to those type of programs. And so it's just a whole
how many
bunch.
kids how many kids are going to be going? Do you know?
I'm not sure how many are going.
Thank you.
Thank you very much, ladies.
Thank you.
All right, we're moving on to board goals.
Board goals.
On the bottom of... Is it on? Yeah, it's on. Okay. Did every one of you have the opportunity to read the redefined board goals?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions or concerns regarding just the rephrasing of what our desires and...
I think it's very thorough. Thoroughly written. It's not a sentence, that's for sure.
Does it hit every aspect of...
Of the five, we have 5 goals that we put forward, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it speaks to a combined effort of what we have all put forward.
Yeah, I like it.
Just one question. So then how do we gauge it midterm, or, I mean, how does that work?
In your last FYI, I sent an update, an academic update that Mr. Middleman had worked on with the various different departments. So we're already providing you with updates to the goals, even though you haven't adopted them yet. But we will certainly continually provide what we're working on and how far we're moving as far as the goals. Once these are all adopted, we will create, as an administrative team, action statements. Those who are responsible for the finalization of the goals and how long we believe that they will take, and you will see if there's financial implications that would need to be put into next year's budget, as well as periodic checkups as to how we're doing moving across to those goals.
How long is the first process going to take? After we adopt them, how long will it take?
To put the action steps together?
Yeah.
We should have them to you before the next board meeting.
Okay, and then the first go-around that we look to see where you are, is that usually come in December or January?
Yeah, usually around January, around midterm time. So that would be more toward the end of January.
So if any of these have a monetary attachment to it, you will let us know by January.
As far as preparing for anything moving forward into the next year's budget, we would certainly do that.
Okay. Any other questions or concerns?
No.
Okay, I'm going to need a consensus.
Aye.
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 Ted?
He said aye.
Okay, sorry, Lee?
Yes.
Yes? Okay, you
Yeah,
have
we have a
five.
consensus.
A consensus of 5. All right, moving over to the Budget Advisory Committee, appointment of representatives. We actually have a really great group of people that are signing on to take on the big responsibility of the BAC. Do we mention their names, or we just, okay. Okay, we have a Jessica Gio, Justin Chesnut, Chris Giramo, John Tedeschi, Tracy Davis, Ray Carter, Rose Ann Ozinos, Sal Grenchi, Leo Marinick, Terry McNamee, Augie Abinanza, Matt Lowry are your representatives, and your alternates are Bet Pitka, Ben Daly, Patrick Hurt, Jennifer Cousin, Sabrina Marinelli, Eileen Panico,
No.
and Robin Cahill.
Benny Calderon.
I'm sorry?
Take my name off, put Benny Calderon. Yeah,
Your name is on.
off. Benny Calderon is the representative for Civic, the alternate.
The alternate, okay.
Okay.
All right, so I need a motion.
Motion. Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, congratulations, you're
Congratulations.
BAC representative. All right, moving over to the National School Boards Association. This is actually taking place in April. Is there any members that are interested in going? I believe this is in Boston.
Yes, I would like to go.
The cost for this, does it give a final cost? Let's see, just a breakdown.
2,100, I thought it said.
Okay, is it on this? Okay, so for each individual that decides to go, it's gonna cost $2,100. The meeting takes place from August 9th through the 11th, I'm sorry, April 9th through the 11th, and this is the NISBA annual meeting will be held in Boston
2016.
for 2016. So Lee, are you interested in going?
Yes, I am.
Okay. So I have to. Sharon, can we supplement the funds for Ms. Kennedy to go?
Yes.
Thank you. Is anyone interested else in going? Thank you, Lee. I appreciate you going. That's great. Thank you.
We have to vote on that?
We have to do a consensus.
Consensus for Lee to go to Boston?
Aye.
Aye.
Nay. Aye.
Aye.
So 4, yes, 1 no. All right, moving over to additional security guards at, I'm sorry, coaches. Moving to additional security coaches. No, what is this?
Additional coaches. Security's next.
Yeah, additional coaches.
Coaches is next, then security.
Oh, okay, all right, so we're going over to coaches,
Can you scroll it down on the board?
then security, I'm sorry.
Mr. Delicave, would you like to come and speak to the board a little bit about the additional coaches that you feel would help supplement our program?
Hi, Mark.
Thank you for coming, Mark.
We currently have 6 programs that have JV assistant coaches. There's been some questions amongst the community and some of our staff that is asking if we can add an additional 6 coaches to 6 other programs, particularly some of our girls' programs. I think my recommendation, if we can handle it, let's do it. As I said before, the more eyes and more hands we have in working with the kids, I think the better off we are. But again, I'm presenting it to you. If you need any more information from me, I'll be glad to meet with the board again and discuss it.
Can you tell us what the 6 coaches are for, so I know you need one for?
We need 6 coaches, 1 for softball, lacrosse, girls lacrosse.
That's at the high school level.
At the high school level, yes. Girls lacrosse, soccer, girls soccer, girls basketball, volleyball, and field hockey. The numbers of, the amount of girls trying out for these teams, I believe, would lead to us having these coaches. I think it's
Last year, one of the things, Mark, we asked you for was if we provided these coaches for the boys' programs, would more boys actually have the opportunity to stay on the teams? Because one of the things that had happened prior to this administration coming into place was the JV 9 program for boys was cut out of the budget. And we were concerned, I know it was a concern that you raised a year ago, August, that so many of our young boy athletes would not have a place to go if we didn't put in an extra pair of hands. Would that also be true for our female athletes?
Yes, it would be. The reason why we didn't have the JV 9 program for the female athletes wasn't because our district couldn't sustain it with the amount of girls trying out for the teams. It was throughout the county. We didn't have enough girls trying out for teams throughout the county, so those programs started to fall apart. The fact that our district can sustain it and we can get more kids participating, I think, why not? Why not? More kids doing something after school, better.
Absolutely. So do we need a consensus?
These current teams, these 6 teams, they only have one coach right now.
They only have one coach, yeah. Yes.
One varsity coach, one JV coach.
One varsity, one JV.
Across Suffolk County, approximately how many teams that are in our conference, in the girls' teams that you just mentioned, have multiple coaches that are either program assistants that are JV and varsity and float between the two, or have a varsity and an assistant varsity coach?
In 24 schools that are comparable in size to us, there are 19 teams that have assistant coaches at the JV varsity level. Again, depending on where we want to place them, whatever title we want to give them, it's, as I keep saying, the extra set of eyes, the extra set of hands to work with the kids.
And this is a cost at $27,946 to the district.
I believe so, yes.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Delicate?
I thought Nick wanted some more information before any
I
decision.
did. I didn't know if we were, I would like to see where I spoke with Mr. Delicate earlier when he was discussing with us. I would like to see the numbers of where the total enrollment was at the high school at the point of where we had the JV 9 programs in place and where the enrollment is now, as to, to look at, we kept on the boys coaches when the JV 9 program started to fall apart as assistants, and now we're talking about adding more coaches. So I just wanted to see those numbers and see what the levels were at that point when we decided to keep the coaches on, and what levels they're at now.
Population within the high school?
Within the high school, yeah. Kids that would be eligible to participate in those sports. So anybody at the high school would be. I think it's relative to see where those numbers are at, so we know how many kids we're including in this number, with giving opportunities to add the coaches. For me, anyway. I'm not sure what everybody else is.
How long ago did the JV 9 for girls approximately?
We started to see it dwindle about 8 or 9 years ago. We started to see it. And honestly, once again, it's not about our district and what our ability was to field the teams. We started to see it start to dwindle with regard to the boys program. When we started to talk about possibly cutting JV 9 at Section 11 meetings, they let me know, please let us know as soon as possible, because those programs were dwindling so much that if one more program had been cut, we would have to have cut the boys programs too. And then really, I think there's one school district in the county that has a JV 9 program right now. And they're running around trying to find games for these kids all the time.
The enrollment range for the section that we actually compete in is what? What's our division would be high schools that were?
It would be League 1, 2, and 3. It would go, I believe the enrollment would be with a graduating class of the lowest end would be in the 300s up to Brentwood, which
is
massive. How many, Longwood, the Sages, which we know could combine.
True.
But we do up to that level, and most of these school districts, as I said, have assistant coaches at that level.
At 19 out of 24, you said, right?
19 out of 24.
Right.
On all of those teams?
I believe so, yes, yes.
So 19 out of 24 school districts that we compete against.
In League 1, 2, and 3, we don't
League 1, 2,
compete
and
against
3,
all,
yeah.
but schools comparable in size to us.
Have assistant coaches at all those positions.
Yeah, yes. They have it more on the varsity level, as opposed to the JV. I'm not opposed, as again, because our programs, our coaches work so closely together, JV and varsity programs. I'm not opposed to making the JV assistant, a program assistant, if you want to call it that, or an assistant on the varsity level. That would be, I guess, a contractual matter. Just to have those extra coaches working with the kids, I think, would be beneficial.
Now, do you see a lot of talent coming out of the 2 middle schools? Has that number increased, or has that number been sustained?
It's been pretty much sustained over the years. I've noticed a little bit of a decline in the numbers this year and last year in football, but when I say that, they used to be so huge that they couldn't sustain those numbers. But we still have large numbers of kids trying out for teams.
And it would increase the amount of girls that we could keep on both JV and varsity if we had additional coaches to differentiate the practices.
Yeah, anytime when kids are transitioning from the middle school to the high school, what you're having is very, and we've noticed it with a lot of the boys. We're seeing 9th graders who might not make that cut because size, maybe they need another year of development, skill-wise, whatever it is. We turn around now, we give them that extra, those maybe 4 or 5, I'm making up those numbers, extra students on a team, student athletes on a team. It allows them to work, be part of a team, and develop a student athlete.
I think the board made the right decision on adding that on. I think it was very beneficial.
It worked. It worked with the boys. We again, there is not every student grows and develops at the same point. That extra year it can only help the kids.
I just like the idea of the kids having something to do that's productive after school, so I'm all in favor for that. Absolutely.
I'm gonna come back and talk to you about adding a badminton program. When you talk about that one, you're gonna enjoy that one.
Oh my God,
Yeah.
I'd love to attend that one. So what type of questions would you like Mr. Delacave to get back to you on? So it's just
What
more
we discussed.
just the more of the
I really
ratio
would like
thing?
to see those numbers. I mean, you guys can vote if you want, but I'm not ready to vote, so you could outvote me.
How do you feel, Craig?
I'm not ready to vote. I would like to see those numbers.
Yeah, I think we should see the numbers. I would like to see the numbers of athletes that are on these teams now in the fall, and then some of the teams from last year. Like,
I have that information.
We have that information. We can show you
Yeah,
that.
I'd like to just see the numbers.
Okay.
Ted, your feeling?
No, I'm good with it. I mean, the more coaches, for the JV and varsity.
I have to
we did
agree
away
with
the
you on
JV9.
that. Lee, your feelings on this?
I'm good with it.
I'm good with it too. When do you need to know, I mean, when would be best suited for you to have these extra coaches if the board decides?
Well, with regard to girls soccer and field hockey, the season's over.
Right, exactly. I know we have a timeline on the next sport.
This fall season, the winter season starts right before Thanksgiving. And then we have, then the spring sports. So
I'll have time.
I mean, we have the
and
consensus of
volleyball has
3.
been impacted already also.
I mean, we have the consensus of 3. It's myself, Ted, and Lee that are.
Why don't we just wait?
You want to wait?
Let them get the information. It'll be the next board meeting, I'm sure
Meeting
we'll
in
be
2
able
weeks,
to.
which is before Thanksgiving.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, and if you have
And will
anything
you have a
like.
problem filling that spot
I mean, it's an
because you're
assistant. If
coming
we're
too
hiring
close
them,
to
we
your,
can hire them a week into the season. It's not a big deal.
Anytime, we'd have to post it, we'd have to post the positions. And then, again, do I have anybody in mind for these positions? No, I don't. Right now, we don't.
All you have to do is give me the information this week. We have another board meeting November 10th. I'm sure we can make a decision by then.
Okay.
And well, that will give you enough time to hire who you need to, right?
Okay, yeah, it's not a problem at all. It's
Okay,
not a
great.
problem.
Thank you so much.
Thank you all.
Thanks for coming, Mark.
Thank you. All right, so we're moving on to.
Security.
We're moving on to security guards. Mr. Flynn, would you like to come down and speak to us?
Come on down, you're the next contestant.
Security is not on the agenda.
Yeah, it is.
It's
It's right below additional coaches, five security.
It was an addition.
K, it's K on the number, it's number 5 now, okay?
Hi, Mr. Flynn, thank you for joining us.
I saw it
Good evening,
later
how's
on.
everybody?
Oh, really?
Hi, Don.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Okay, you want me to start, or?
Yes, please,
Yes,
thank you.
It was it's a recommendation brought by myself to both the administration and the board to consider the deployment of security personnel at the elementary level. It would be a philosophical change and also a movement that we had not done currently. The district is covered on a day-to-day basis by mobile patrols. I don't want to get into the quantity of how that coverage takes place, but I believe it would be, the time has come, it would be beneficial. I think it would be support for the building principals on a day-to-day basis, support for the clerical staff with their duties and current duties at the building level, and in general the teaching staff on a day-to-day basis to help them out with issues that arise.
So you're looking for 6 security guards at $30,000 per security guard?
Yeah, approximately at 182 days, it factors out to about $30,000 or $32,000 per guard per building. So, and that's the 8 hours a day at each building. We would not need 7 because there would be a redeployment of personnel based upon the people that are on the road right now.
So these would be retired cops?
Yeah, so all our staff, since I've been with Connetquot, everybody that's hired has either been active or retired law enforcement.
Okay, and then just give us an idea of what they're going to be doing. So they're going to be walking in the perimeter, and they're going to be staying in the front?
Yeah, obviously, you know, the day-to-day duties and responsibilities be vetted out with the building principals, and this is, you know, this is something that would yet to be done, but envision it as we continue to make modifications, infrastructure modifications with the security vestibules. And in the upcoming bond, there is visitor management systems that will continually be rolled out. And what they are, you see them at the secondary level, both at you know, the middle schools and the high school. That will be rolled out through this bond at the elementary level. So the assistance on that piece. Also, while children are outside on the playground, the surrounding area, check the perimeters of the building, assist with arrival and dismissal at most of the buildings, the elementary schools, on a day-to-day basis. There's the teachers, and they do a great job out there, but sometimes it can get a little hectic. So you would have security guards be able to absorb that responsibility also.
I think it'll take a little pressure off the secretaries too, instead of buzzing every 5 seconds.
Yeah, it's unfortunate to where we come, but we've been asking clerical to do more and more duties and responsibilities, which really is falling into the category of safety and security. So although they would still be working hand in hand, it would give the building principal the ability to have the same individual on a daily basis to conduct business with them, get to know the parents and the kids in the particular building, know when issues do arise, rather than hopefully to avoid any issues, rather than waiting for them. So more on the proactive rather than a reactive model.
I think one of the dynamics of the building, and obviously each building operates a little differently.
Yeah, it would certainly enhance our emergency management procedures, evacuation procedures, which they do very well right now, but it would certainly help to expedite in certain situations that have arisen.
How many school districts have
Elementary schools
have security, do you know?
Many. We are becoming in, that's been the model that has been in the last couple of years. Most of the surrounding districts have gone in that manner. We're one of the few that currently do not. More and more districts are going in that direction, and not just to follow suit, but really on a we see, unfortunately, just more and more. Look, we got a great district here, but we're being asked, the principals being asked to do more and more on custody disputes, orders of protection, things of that nature, and the enhancement of our emergency management procedures. So to have somebody on a day-to-day basis to be able to rely on and hand off some of these duties and responsibilities to, I think would help them tremendously.
Ted, your thoughts?
No, I'm for it. I mean, security is paramount. Our kids, especially at that age, we're talking about $1,000 a day for 6 schools, to have somebody there that the teachers and the principals can depend on. I think it's a win-win for us.
Nick, your thoughts?
I just have one question, Don. I'm just trying to clear up for me. We currently have 2 roving security guards
Right.
that cover the elementary schools?
Right.
And we're hiring 6, so that makes 8 for 7 buildings. What's happening to the other person?
Well, we've got, somewhere along the line, there's gotta be, a meal relief.
Is that what okay.
Yeah, so there's 6 or 7 meal reliefs during the day that absorbs.
So that person is just
Right.
basically going to be another roving person
Meal
to
relief,
cover.
so when somebody goes to
So
meal,
there's
there'll be
someone
somebody
always
to
on
backfill.
premises.
Exactly.
There will never be a building that does not have a security
Yeah,
guard.
and you know, obviously absent exigent circumstances.
Sure.
You know, which we do now, if we've got a situation at a particular building, I immediately redeploy personnel.
Absolutely,
In the event of a situation.
But on a normal situation, we will have every building covered at all points of the day with the 7 and the 1 roving person.
Exactly.
Craig, your thoughts?
Yes, I'm for it. I love it. In my elementary school this year, we just got a security guard. But I would just like to discuss, or I don't know who's going to make the decision, what these security guards are actually doing.
I think he said it would go to their building.
Yeah, I mean, if the board gave direction, the administration gave the direction to go forward, would be the time for me to sit down with the elementary principals. I think they're in favor of it, so that would be the time to sit down and discuss what their needs are. We're pretty familiar with what their wants are at this point in time. So.
Yeah, like the one that we have in my school, he's right there at the front door.
Mhm.
He gets up and lets everyone in.
Right.
So there is no more buzzing.
Right.
Whoever comes in, they have to have a certain pass.
Right.
All right, and they have to check in with him at that desk before they go any further anywhere.
Right.
And he's there all day long.
Yeah, along those lines, I personally would like to see you come up with, because I think you are an expert at what you do, come up with a set of guidelines that minimally each one of these security guards is doing on a daily basis.
Absolutely.
Not that I don't trust our principals, but I think there are certain things that I'm sure you feel are important for that person to do every day and have those certain responsibilities. And then additional things I think can be put in place by the principal. But I would like to see you come up with minimum, a checklist that person is responsible for securing our building and doing certain things during the day.
Yeah, absolutely. As we have now, duties and responsibilities for our mobile patrol and the other buildings, there will certainly be put in place for, specific to each particular building, and then globally responsibilities on a day-to-day basis.
Great.
Can I take a consensus? Just leave.
Leave. Let's excuse yourself. Second.
Ted said aye.
Aye.
Aye. We got 4.
We got 4.
You got 4.
And I think
I'm
he was
sure
pretty
she
much for it.
sounded like I can't speak for her, but she didn't sound opposed to this idea.
She just wants air conditioning.
Lee, we need your consensus.
Can the public ask a question about this?
Probably during public participation.
But
Would
you've
you mind
already
speaking
voted
about
on
public
it, so
participation
anything the
and answer any
public would want to
questions?
comment on it, it's moot. You've
We
already
can vote
voted.
after. Can we vote afterwards? Can we allow them to speak?
It's a discussion item. It's a discussion item.
Can we wait and vote afterwards and let the public speak and so we can hear what they have to say? I'm fine with that.
So, all right, so then we're gonna push till after the,
Yeah, push the vote to let the public speak.
All right, so then we'll push.
Absolutely.
And then we'll add you after.
This came to the board maybe 13, 14 years ago. I don't know if it was before you or when you came on, Don. At that time, we said no. But it's 14 years later. I'm sure there are a lot of, the world has changed.
Tremendously.
We went from spending a couple $100,000 on security 17 years ago, and I know we're way over $1 billion, and we're still not there yet. Takes a lot more money to protect our kids in today's society. And to spend it and nothing happen is okay. But God will help us. God forbid if something happened, how terrible would we feel if we
We want
didn't
that
do
on my
anything?
watch.
So, let the community speak. I think it's a good opportunity for them to voice their opinion. We can vote later.
Stick around, Don. Okay.
Next.
Okay, now we're on to teacher substitutes.
Okay, around this time last year, I raised this same issue that it was very difficult to secure teacher substitutes. I actually did an entire analysis of what was happening in ASOP, only to find out that we're not reporting all the absences in ASOP, so the data was skewed, actually skewed to the point where there were less unfilled vacancies than there actually appears. So I do have more data to gather, because what was happening is we are not putting in individual coverages for CSEs. So I believe that we're even in more dire straits than we were this time last year. One of the things that we did was we brought our per diem sub rate up to a similar rate with the surrounding school districts. It's still not enough to get the substitutes that we need to adequately cover our classes. So I did speak with many of the ISLIP superintendents. Unfortunately, we're all in the same boat, having the same issues. There's one district that pays $155 per diem coverage, and she's still not getting the coverage that that she needs in her district in order to cover all of the absences on a daily basis. So I would like to I asked Mr. Annucci to arrange a meeting with Mr. Felicio to talk to the union about any ideas that they had in order to supply more subs. I'm actually on the one of the board of directors for Dowling, one of the boards that talk about student teachers, and so we've reached out to pre-student teachers, because until you're certified, you can actually sub for 40 days. Everybody's trying to do these kind of things. I do potentially have a plan, but I need to know exactly how many teachers are left uncovered on a daily basis. So I can't give you that entire plan, because I'd like to cost it out with Mrs. Donnelly once I have a good number of how many coverages are left uncovered. One of the things that we spoke about last year was bringing in more of a preferred sub who would come into the building every single day, and whether we needed that coverage or not, we would actually hold them as an employee of ours for the full week. But that's again something that we would need to cost out, and I wouldn't want to give a number, because potentially the high school has 15 uncovered teachers every day, and if I only said we needed 8, that wouldn't even get to half. So I'll be working more closely. I thought I had those numbers through ASOP, only to find out that I don't have anywhere near the right numbers through ASOP. So to not be able to give you full data and a full view of what that looks like right now, I think I'll be able to get that information for you either in the next FYI or the next board meeting, and by then Mr. Annucci will have had a chance to talk to Mr. Felicio about ideas from the union.
Well, what is the retention rate now on those subs that you have? Are they staying or are they going?
I'm going to refer that question to Mr. Annucci.
We lose them rather rapidly. At our peak, we were interviewing 4 to 6 per week. We had over 200 on paper, and we had about 87 active. So you can see it's a huge casualty rate.
Do we know what the average is of paid sub around us and the surrounding districts?
We're somewhere in the average. Last year we were at 90. We're up to 110 now. That's about what the surrounding districts are paying, between 110, 115, 120. We're not as low as we were, but I think we may have to look at some kind of an attractive package to bring people in and give them more of a permanent job, even though it's still a temporary position. But I know, we do interview a lot.
Who runs ASOP?
ASOP is something we get through BOCES,
Correct.
Mr. Annucci.
Yes.
It's a service that we
Contracted
get through
service through BOCES.
Okay. I only say this because, speaking from experience, obviously we're having the same problems in my district. And one of the problems that I see is ASOP. And I don't know if that's maybe something we can do as a district to put some pressure on ASOP to change some of their policies. But I know that we're experiencing a problem where people are going in and accepting a assignment, and then ASOP allows them to then cancel out of that assignment and take another assignment if something else better comes along, or higher paying, or a different spot in another district. And because all the districts are now linked together in ASOP, where I know I'm going to sound like a dinosaur, but 15 years ago I had to sign up in each individual district, and it wasn't done as a collaborative. And I think that has hurt the problem somewhat with subs. I obviously realize there's a shortage of subs on the island. That's not a question. But I think the superintendents, and it might be something you want to talk to other superintendents about, finding out whether they're experiencing that same thing as to why people are not coming back, and maybe we can put some pressure on ASAP to change some of their policies. I don't know, if we can go there or not, but I think it is part of the problem.
I agree with you. One of the things, you want to be able to maintain and make it marketable for them to want to stay. So would it be unreasonable to offer maybe a workshop, a professional workshop for them, so that they feel that their subs that come here, they feel like they're being invested into? Maybe evaluation performance. So that's something that they can put on their resume, again, to make them marketable. And also maybe it's a nice little package to get them to be enticed to come here. So we're showing that we're not just having you in our building, but we're inviting you into our district, and we're, looking forward to building some type of relationships. I think that's what it really comes down to.
The problem with that is and I agree, there's anything we can do to increase them coming in. The thing that I see with that is, and talking to subs on a daily basis, is, and when I did the same thing when I subbed, was the first thing you do when you walk in a building is obviously you do your job, and the next thing you do is you inquire with people in the district what positions are available or what people are going to retire soon. And if you're in a position where you're looking for a biology job and you go to Connetquot High School and the biology or the science department tells you, oh no, these people are biology teachers, and you see they're all 30 years old and not leaving in 15, 20 years, you're not coming back to Connetquot because there's no opportunity for you. And right now, it's all about opportunity. So I don't know, how much of that is going to affect that piece of the equation. And that's a hard thing to combat. There's not something that, is a magic bullet for. That's a really difficult piece. That no matter what you do to entice them, if there's no potential position for them, they're more likely to go somewhere else where there might be a job so they can get their face shown, they can do a good job, they can get people to recognize them, and that's how you get, part of getting a job.
Do we have permanent subs in our elementary schools right now?
We do not.
Did we ever?
Yes, we did. Yes, we did.
How long ago?
12, 15 years ago. 15 years ago.
That might help, just getting a permanent sub in your elementary schools, but I go back to the pay. I think $110 is not enough. I think we should raise that price. Districts around here pay $100. Yeah, that's what I thought, $100.
There used to be a difference between uncertified and certified. There was a monetary difference. And then that was changed a few years ago, and that everybody just gets the $100. And I noticed that we don't seem to have uncertified subs the way we used to. And yes, they are limited to the 40 days, because I've been counting them for 13 years. And we just don't seem to have as many. Maybe 8 or 10, where I used to follow 25 or 30. So I don't know what has changed where uncertified subs are concerned, but we don't have a well of them anymore.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know the numbers out there. Someone mentioned another district, they pay $140 and they're having a problem also. That might be true, but I think overall, in my district, we have a huge problem with it also, but those subs out there, they are searching for those higher paying jobs. There are districts that pay $150, $140. Most of the districts, I shouldn't say most of the districts, but there's many, many districts out there that are paying $130 or above.
There's also a step program at SEDA. You start at $115, you work 90 days, you go up to $135, then you go up to $145, and then after 5 years, you're an additional $5.
Maybe we could do something.
Yeah, because I know, talking to a lot of subs in this district, they love working here, but they can't stay because they don't get paid enough.
So Bob, I'm going to ask you to just do the research once again.
Sure.
And just look at our surrounding districts and get a feel for what the average is right now.
Yes, will
And
do.
maybe we can bring that back to the board with better numbers as to how many teaching positions are left uncovered in each building each day, so that potentially we look at something of more of a permanent nature and having our subs get used to the building and maybe keep them around.
Do we have I know there's always a concern as a teacher with balancing coverages and being asked to cover. I know I believe Mr. Felicio has expressed in a letter to us that it's a problem, and I'm assuming that his teachers are looking for help. I mean, is that what I'm under the, impression of? So I think that, it's something we need to look for, because for me, it's really important to be able to prep for the classes I'm supposed to teach and not have to be covering classes. So we really need to find a way to address, the issue to help the teachers out, because they should be prepping for the classes that they're teaching.
The other thing we need to be cognizant of is the Affordable Care Act. So when we start to look at permanent or preferred subs that are coming into the building every single day, we have to make sure that we are looking at that 95% of our employees are offered benefits, and that could put us under the cap of that 95% employees being offered benefits. So it's just something that we need to just, keep in mind at the bigger picture of, all the different things that are part of this.
Is that why, Linda, like say in my school, in my district, the subs, a permanent sub, does not work more than 4 days?
That's right, exactly.
Yeah, so they hire them as a permanent sub, but they can't work more than 4 days, and then they don't have to offer that health care, correct?
That's correct, exactly. Yeah, we're going to table it for the next meeting. Mr. Nucci will get more information. I will get more information as to exactly how many spots are left uncovered in each building, and we will have a costed out plan for you through Mrs. Donnelly's office as well.
We're going to compare our costs for increasing sub pay compared to what we're paying out for coverages as well.
Absolutely. Yep. Any more questions or concerns?
No, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, we're moving over to policy. Moving over to first reading. Need a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Lee seconded it.
Anybody have any questions or concerns?
I do not.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving over to adoption, second reading. Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Who's second?
Aye.
I did.
I did.
I did also.
Oh, you did? Too late, I got you.
What, fire
Okay, moving over to abolishment.
That I missed?
Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, moving over to public participation. Step 2, the mic. Address the board president only. You may address one or more topics in the time allotted. Comments should be no more than 3 minutes and should relate to school matters only. Individual employees, parents, or children should not be identified by name, title, position, grade, or building. The board has the final decision in determining the length of time, the appropriateness of the subject being presented, and the suitability of the time for such a presentation.
Freshman awareness, in case you guys thought. What's going on?
It's on the docket to be approved.
What's that?
It's on the docket to be approved.
I thought it was approved and we were just waiting for a date.
We're having
You
it.
guys approved it way back.
It was approved, yes. We're appointing the advisors tonight.
So they,
The advisors will be,
so they still haven't been appointed?
no,
Officially.
Okay. So is it on the calendar?
it's happening today.
No, is it on the calendar for the date for the freshman awareness?
Once these people get appointed, we'll confirm the date, because we have the auditorium, we have to make sure that
Right, I know
it's.
that.
So we have to work with the 2 advisors on that, make sure that we're gonna be in compliance with November, the date they originally had set.
All right, perfect. Auditor's report. I remember asking this last time and I don't remember where it went, but the auditor report and the management letter is not online. It was not on the agenda. Where can we get a copy of the auditor's report, please?
I'll put it online now that it's been accepted by the board.
Okay. Was it on, did you put it online the last time?
No.
I didn't think so. But I
Management
remember
letter
asking.
also?
And the management letter.
I think that's just a writing between the auditor to the board.
So if we wanted to see that, we would have to foil it?
Yeah, if it's foilable, I don't even know.
That's foilable. Absolutely. Okay. What else was talked about today? Oh, the $15,000 that we got a cute little picture of you guys with Tom Croce. What are we doing with that money?
$10,000 is going to offset the cost of Awareness Weekend,
Okay.
and the other $5,000 will go to offset some of the costs for the Leader in Me pilot at Boston.
And tennis courts, RMS, or OBMS?
Sharon, can you speak to that?
John?
Oh, John, are you still, yeah, John, we got the guy right here to speak to that.
Hello. The capital project that was approved by the voters back in 2014 is at State Ed. We anticipate getting approval for that within the next month. Shortly thereafter, the architects and the district will start developing the bids. That project has been moved up to a priority number 1, so that paperwork hopefully will get finalized sometime in February. If the weather allows, we'll be able to do the work early this spring.
Perfect. And then I guess that's it until consent agenda.
Thank you. Gail, do you have any questions regarding?
I do. I really do. I'm busting. The first thing I want to talk about is the substitutes here in Connetquot. Years ago, we did have permanent subs. In the past few years, a lot of harm has been done in the community and in the teaching profession. I hear it at home from people who are teachers who no longer want to work in Connetquot. Connetquot has gotten a very bad reputation in the community. Schools are telling their kids, they're telling kids don't become teachers. There's no permanent positions. So they're discouraging young people from even becoming teachers because of the negativity in Albany, the financial woes, the charter schools. There's just so much bad out there that the schools are telling young people not to.
Talking about
pursue
college?
teaching.
Yeah, what school? Talking about colleges?
I'll give you a 100%. St. Joseph's College is not encouraging children to go into education anymore. They're changing their entire focus, and they turned out some of the most excellent teachers. Connetquot would never hire, no, I shouldn't say never, that's not true, but they looked to St. Joseph grads before they looked to anybody, and St. Joseph's is now discouraging. They're going to do away with their education program.
Really?
It's terrible.
Yeah, that's weird.
But closer to home, over the years, asking substitutes to renew and coming in for interviews every year after they've taught in Connetquot for 2, 3, 4, 5 years is absolutely ridiculous. People are fed up with it and they don't want to work here anymore.
You're saying because they didn't get a job?
No, I'm saying because they have to reapply every year. They're good enough to work for 2, 3, and 4 years, sometimes as leave replacements, but they have to come back and whoever's sitting on the board has to like them all over again. It's not because they didn't get a job. It's because they have to re-interview and they have to answer questions like, why do you want to work in Connetquot? After they've worked here for 5 years. They've lived here, they've grown up here, they student taught here, they're coming back to be substitutes. There's no permanent positions offered to them. There's no hope of any position being offered to them. They're not made to feel like home, like they're coming back to give back. It's not the way it is. So you could offer your substitutes $200 a day. You're still not going to get them until the attitude in Connetquot changes.
Who's giving that attitude?
I apologize to anybody whose feelings
All right,
get
forget it.
hurt.
I shouldn't have asked that question.
No, I want to hear it. I want to hear the answer.
Previous board members over the past 3 years have done serious harm to Connetquot. And Connetquot has taken 10 steps back instead of 2 steps forward.
We're going to have to bring it
That
back.
has to change. I'm telling you, you're not going to get people to come here because the word is out.
Can I ask you a question? Because to me, I heard 2 separate issues when you were talking. I heard the issue of people not wanting to reapply and be re-interviewed. And then I also heard the issue of not either, I'm not sure exactly what your words were, maybe you can clarify for me, not being offered a job or not feeling like there's a job available for them. Because to me, those are 2 different things. Because you only have so many jobs and you only have so many positions that are available.
I'll go clarify
So,
just for a little bit.
Yeah, go ahead.
I know people who grew up in Connetquot, graduated from the local colleges, particularly St. Joe's, who came back to Connetquot to give back to the community that they grew up in. And when they come in, they have, again, that re-interview process, they're sick of it. They say, if I was good enough to teach for 3 years, why am I not good enough now?
Makes sense.
Oh, I might Okay, that's
So,
just the
can
one.
she finish? I'd like to hear what she says.
That's just the one topic.
I asked her a question. I took some of her time.
But Gail, just so you know, that, and I don't know specifically what you're talking, situations, but that goes on everywhere.
I understand, I know it
That-
does.
Unfortunately, it does, and it stinks.
I know it
But
does.
it does go on
But it wasn't
everywhere.
always that way here in Connetquot. And we used to get the best subs, and those subs became great teachers here in
So
Connetquot.
you were saying this existed last year and maybe years prior?
Mhm.
And, why am I the only first hearing of this now? I mean, I knew that there was some tensions there, but I didn't know it was to that extreme, so it was never.
I don't know that you would hear it unless you're in the education field.
Which
Not
goes
just,
back-
so
Yeah, which
forth.
goes back to where I said.
But
we have to
Connetquot
make-
has a terrible reputation.
Well, that's what
out
goes back to
there.
what I was saying before, that the teachers who teach the subject feel like we're invested in them, do work performance, do workshops, to make them feel that they're part of the community.
I'm still a little confused. I have to ask you because
I'll tell you.
listen. I took your time. You can
Okay.
talk.
Okay.
I'm still a little confused about the whole. Are these people upset that they're not getting a job because there's not one available, or are they upset because they're not getting a job because they came back to Connetquot and they feel like they should get a job because they came back to donate to their community?
It's not about getting a permanent job. It's that they want to give back. They come back, they student teach here.
So they're not
they
feeling welcome, is
substitute
what you're
here.
saying.
They're not
feeling welcome, like they're part of the
Right,
community when they
right,
come back.
Right.
Well, we need to change that because that's wrong.
Right.
They should feel like they're welcome. If they're coming back to their community and they're trying to do the right thing, then that's a change that we need to try to make philosophically to make those people feel like they
I'd be
are
glad to
contributing.
talk to you more about it.
Sure.
The second thing that I wanted to talk about was the additional security. Am I allowed?
Yeah, I took some of her time. Let her speak.
Okay, the security, the additional security. I have a couple of questions. If they're working an 8-hour day, the schools are only open 6.5 hours a day. So if they're working 8 hours a day, we would be obligated to give them benefits, which raises the cost.
We don't even.
We don't give
get security
benefits to
We don't get
security.
benefits.
They're mostly policemen, they already have
They're
benefits.
retired, and they have to stay within under our cap, so they really don't want to exceed a certain amount of money with earnings.
Let Don,
Don's coming. Hold on.
But I do agree with the 8-hour day.
No, there's no vacation days, there's no sick days, they're per diem. So there is no, they're not needing any health benefits because they already have their health benefits. So there are no, what's the word?
No fringe benefits.
No fringe benefits. It's an hourly rate of pay, and that's it.
And the reason they're working 8 hours is because they will be there before the buses arrive, just before, and they will stay till after the 3:30 buses or the late buses for, to facilitate
And there
that
are
safety
some-
and that dismissal.
There's also some after-school
A
activities like.
security guard can't take over the whole bus unloading. and
No,
loading.
but he's there to protect the children and facilitate in any crisis and anything that happens or any situations that are needed. But he's on premises for that period of time to cover before the buses arrive, when the children are arriving till when the late buses leave.
The way that Don described it, that person would not necessarily be sitting at a front door, opening the door for people.
Gail, there's things to be vetted out here. Like I said, in the bond that John Allen is talking about also, there's also still a reconfiguration of the vestibules that take place. It's a hand-in-hand with the clerical up front regarding who's coming into the building, but then also being responsible for the perimeter of the schools itself during the day. We got 200 kids or 100 kids out on the playground. I would expect the old term, feel free to roam around the cabin, and to be eyes and ears for what's going on while the kids are out there also. Obviously, priority as to who comes in the building on a day-to-day basis is becoming an increasing problem because we're giving more responsibility to the clerical and having them make that split-second decision. Having trained personnel being able to make that decision, hear the inflection of somebody's voice when I'm here to see the building principal. I want to see the building principal. That's a decision that that's what you want them for. Although we train with the clerical and they do a great job at it, we're just being asked. They're being asked to do more and more. So it's a team.
I want to understand, because how would the secretary communicate with the security guard that might be doing?
Gail, I'm going to tell. So with
while
all due respect, and I can tell you, there's a lot that goes on behind the scenes on a day-to-day basis that I don't feel comfortable putting out right here on how we operate. Suffice to say is that they're instantaneous, and redundancy in how we communicate, not just at the building level, but at the district level. But I don't think it would behoove, us here, nor the kids and the staff members to talk about how these things take place and what we've done, to make those things happen expeditiously. So.
Okay, I just wanted to bring to the board, and no offense done, I'm not
No,
saying
absolutely,
that,
Gail.
I'm not saying that we don't need a person at the elementary school, but we need to also consider how much money we've spent on additional cameras and redoing those vestibules and the buzzing system and the card swiping, and there's been a lot of money put into technology.
One does not supplement the other, and everything that's been done as far as the technology piece, I believe in a three-prong approach. It's planning, it's technology, it's highly trained personnel. So, the districts will come to me and say, oh, I'm putting up 100 cameras, how many security personnel can I get rid of? And I say none. Because the boots on the ground, trained, and that's not security personnel, it's what we do in the district for all our staff members here. That's really what counts. Everything that's been done on the technology piece, that's why we've tried to, I know there's been a real rush, and rightly so, to enhance some of the technological pieces that we're waiting on. But we've rolled them into the bond to make sure we get back, and Sharon will know better, whether it's 67% or whatever it may be. And then on top of that, in the last year or two, capitalizing on the Safe School Acts, which added another 10% on top of that. So it's thought out, and I just don't, do it on a day-to-day basis. 1-, 3-, and 5-year plans is how I look at going forward. But the technology piece, I call them the toys, are a great thing, but I'd much rather have the people in place, and it's just not the security personnel, as I said. So it's a partnership.
Thank you, Don, I appreciate that.
Okay.
Thank you, Gail.
And the one last thing, if I may. We were going to talk about the $250,000 for, what was it? Oh, I'm sorry, I lost my page.
We had somebody else waiting.
All right,
down.
yes, please. Go ahead, I'm going to collect my...
Before you speak, student government, you can choose to stay or you can leave. It's your choice, guys.
Okay.
Thank you.
It's customary to
But
do
we
that.
thank you for your service.
Yes,
tonight.
thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, ladies. Good evening.
Thank you.
Switching topics.
And we feel bad it's getting late. We know you guys have so much homework to do that you got to get back on that.
Thank you.
I kind of talk about the same thing every time I do speak. I'm concerned about the content of the curriculum, and I understand a lot of this has to do with the state, and it's not us making that decision. But I would like to know, as a district, if we have anything in place for when things come at us that are inappropriate for a particular age, or at least a way for parents to know when topics they feel are inappropriate are coming at their children, that the parent would know. I've had a couple of situations this year with the 5th grade curriculum where there's some really difficult topics being put out there, like Nazi Germany. Like there was a book about the Danish, saving the Nazis and sending them over, saving the Jewish citizens and sending them to Sweden. And I understand it's a beautiful book about the heroism, but my daughter did not have the background in her school to really come to that. So I got that book and I read that book and I read through it and I was able to pre-teach and explain to her what she needed to know. But the way I found out about that book was at back to school night. I pulled the book out of her desk and said, "What is this?" I didn't know that this was coming. Now there's a movie that goes associated with that book, and luckily I got a permission slip home asking me my permission to watch that movie. So I went out and I rented that movie, and I was horrified. Horrified. There was a suicide by hanging, and a lot of violent gunshot. So I did not give permission. I think I was probably the only parent in the class that didn't give permission for that, and my daughter's sensitive to that. So I don't know if it's, she's sensitive to violent shows, and I was very grateful to the teacher to send a permission slip. But I'd like to know if there's any protections in place that, for things that I'm not getting permission slips for, that at least I could know and give a heads up. So like for the sex ed talks, every parent knows when that's coming. I feel like I'd like to know what things are coming in different grades, or are there things we just do because the state says do it,
without any kind of safety net for when it goes too far? Who's protecting the kids when the state puts out a recommendation that's just too much? I think
Dean, would you like to answer
those
that
topics
question?
are hard topics, and I think they need a parent to really talk with their kids about that. So I don't know if we have anything in place like that, or if a committee would be something to look at that, or...
Dean, do you have a, do you know what the book she's referencing?
I do not, but I could definitely look into it, and I can get back to her regarding the book.
And I'm not saying there's a problem with the book per se, and if it ties into the curriculum, I do understand that. But for a parent to have a heads up on the hot topics that are coming, I can circumvent anxiety in the classroom and some difficulties. Like, my daughter doesn't deal with suspense in movies. I don't show them violent movies. You know, I felt like the book had some explaining that needed to be done also. My family just happened to come back from Denmark and spin, so it was a little close to home for my daughter to be reading about this war that took place right there, you know, when we were there a month ago.
All right, thank you. Thank you.
Do we have policies in place for showing of videos?
We have
Dean?
do we have a policy?
Yeah, like we have a
We don't have
policy
a Board of
that's-
Education policy, but
Do
we
we
do
have a, does anybody have a protocol or a policy?
We
that
have
says-
practices that we.
What other, do you know what the practices are?
That, you know, we don't show full-length movies, that the teachers are relating clips or short films to relate to the content that they're teaching in their classroom.
Well, apparently this teacher sent out.
This was not a movie that they, was this something they showed in the class?
Yes, but there was a permission slip sent home giving you had to give consent for them to watch this. So I was grateful that I was given the opportunity to review it and know what the content was, so I could make that choice.
Ma'am, do you know what the rating of the movie was?
It's a Disney movie,
But it was put out.
put out by Disney, so it sounds like it's an okay movie, but I watched it. It's
Yeah, well,
Suicide by hanging.
I agree.
Miracle at Midnight. And it was related to, very similar to the books they read,
Wow.
Number the Stars.
I think in today's day and age, it's very important to have
But I would just like to
policies
know
in
that
place
we're
for that.
learning about Nazis now.
Yeah, we'll find out through policy.
But again, you know, the best thing to do is obviously communicate with the teacher, communicate with the building principal, your concerns. I'll also echo that as well, and I'll
If
follow.
that's the curriculum from the state, then I'd like a bullet point of what other topics are coming this year.
Okay. I'll give you a call.
All right, thank you.
We should have something in place for, I mean, besides the, you know, the detailing the curriculum, but we should definitely have something in place for movies that are being shown. I know I have something in place. I have to have every movie that's shown in my classroom signed by an administrator.
I've been had an experience in my children's school career where there wasn't a permission slip sent home. We're showing a movie that, no, I've always had. I've always had permission slips sent home, and especially on the elementary level.
And, you know, I don't, I think we've
I
got
don't know
to.
if it's a building policy or.
Well, you know, it's something that we'll look into with the building principals. We'll find out what their practices are at their buildings, and I'll get back to you regarding what we do as a district.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, ma'am.
I just want to throw my support behind what Don has said regarding security, because I am getting a lot of feedback from the clericals of, well, what if I let someone in and it's a Columbine? It's, how do I know?
It's stressful.
You know, I'm answering a phone, I'm trying to do payroll, and, so I've had a lot of feedback from them. They are very upset with it. I have girls at the high school level, being that I guess there's someone who's going to be released from incarceration, and they want to know what the district's doing. You know, is there going to be any added security? Is there any follow-up in regards to that individual? And I know my children have been out of school for many years, and so 15 years or more ago, there was security at the elementary, and they knew who I was, and I had to have my driver's license out every day. And my children from 9th grade to 12th grade could not get into their high school without their photo ID. and there were people there to check it. And if they didn't have it, they were sent home, and they had a hoof. They had to walk home and get that badge, or they didn't get in. And that's it, period. And the girls at the high school, some of them are from other districts, want to know why we don't have that in place. Since we are such a large district and we are proactive, why, I mean, I believe our kids do get ID. Why don't they have something like the clericals have, where, and it, believe me, we have enough entrances that we can accommodate, you know, with security, everyone holding a badge. I understand there was an alumni in the high school visiting teachers all day. Nobody knew she was in the building. Walked in with everybody else. And she never signed in. The clericals, nobody knew she was there. And all of a sudden she just popped up in the office.
Has that been at the high school or
Mhm.
building?
At the high school.
Oh, lovely.
So the girls were like, well, she, you know, she happens to be a wonderful student and she was just there visiting and it was all great, but what if not?
I check in everywhere.
Right, but, so it's an issue, because the high school is so large, that the clericals there are very upset. There's a lot of buildings, I understand there's a lot of master keys available to different staff, and there's, you know, self-admission, and who's to say that a teacher, male or female, someone doesn't come up behind them and push them through a door that they're accessing. So it is a concern. So anything that you can do to facilitate the security, give peace of mind, or put someone at the main office or in key positions, keeping the school like funneled. William Floyd's a tremendous district. There's 3 entrances, and there's security at every entrance. They control parking, traffic in the morning, and everybody who goes into the buildings with IDs handled and security. And they've been doing it for years, so
We're
maybe we can.
discussing all those things you
Yeah,
talked
it would be
about. We
great.
just had a meeting
Thank
with
you.
Don.
Thank you.
As far as the gentleman, Don's on top of that, just so you're aware.
Yes, yeah,
He's,
no,
he's,
I've
he's,
assured them,
he's been on top of that. He's got, you know, he addressed the staff with Mr. Costa recently regarding the situation, so you
Yeah.
can pass that along to your
Yeah,
clericals.
and we had an incident at central office where someone had come in, and they were an employee who had been let go under maybe not the best of circumstance, and we weren't aware of it, and we let them in to help them, like we did with any ex-employee or whatever, and it was very stressful. It was stressful for administration. Staff didn't know there was a problem. And I said, you know, we hang up pictures of pedophiles, but we can't examine them all. We can't examine disgruntled employees, but security could do it. They have the time and they have the training. So I think that's something that should be considered.
Absolutely,
Thank you.
thank you.
Thank you.
If Dawn feels there's a weakness anywhere, that
I believe you got the consensus of the board, we just held it for public participation.
Good. So I want to say about the sports, that if we were noticing that, you said there has been a benefit to the boys having the added coaches, the assistant coaches, why would we not do the same for girls? Either way, so I just wanted to say that that is lacking now that I have, you know, I have 4 boys, but the one girl now is up here doing, and I could see that it's very, very much needed, and it's fair. You know, girls get what the boys get.
I agree.
I wanted to say too that band night, maybe you guys will get to it later on, but I know that a few of you attended the Battle of the Band, the Mitchell Field
Yes,
Morning
Music
Band
Festival.
Just, it's unbelievable what the music department does here, and it was so nice to see you girls and guys there. It was really, everybody.
I was at Honor
appreciates it.
Society, the induction that night, but I heard I missed
Oh,
the
that's
big,
nice,
I
yeah.
missed a good time.
So good, it all went very well. My other question was, you know, rumor, I've heard, and we don't have a rumor board anymore, so, but rumor has it that, the teachers have been asked, by their leadership, we'll say, not to attend the fundraisers, the CFAC fundraisers. Is there any truth to that? Has anybody heard the same thing? This directly affects the kids and funds that goes directly to the kids. So I'm hoping that's not the case, but that's what the word on the street is. So I'm hoping, no, you haven't heard anything
No.
along those lines?
We can't speak for Mr. Felicio. I have
Yeah,
no
Mr.
idea
Felicia
what.
will have to speak for that.
he has to speak for himself and his organization.
Okay. And the other thing with the subs is that, do you find that there's maybe, I guess, as easily as I can say, are the teachers absent too much? Are we having excessive absences, or that we can't fill the seats when they're
From what I
not
understand,
here?
it seems to be the consensus of all the districts around the surrounding area. So we're all kind of aligned with the other districts. We're not more or less than anybody else,
It's a problem in Suffolk County.
It's consistent with
I
other
mean, it's probably in
districts.
Nassau County as well. I'm not aware of that, but it's definitely a problem in other districts
Yeah,
as
it's
well.
consistent with other
Don't
districts.
forget, teachers are absent also for professional development. And they've been getting a lot of professional development.
As well as
It's
CSE
not just
meetings.
here.
Okay. All right, thank you.
Thank you, Deidre.
It's 2-1 in the top of the sixth. Mets are up.
Well, sir, you'll be our last speaker of the night.
Sorry about
Well, not
that.
our last speaker.
Leah, I thought you'd want to know that.
3-1. I have it on there.
Oh, do you? Okay, there you go.
My last speaker.
Well, I
You're the
can't use
last
my
speaker.
microphone
My
for
last.
that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
No, that's okay. That's
Oh, I didn't even know Tracy.
No, let her go.
Yeah, absolutely.
He's a gentleman.
Thank you.
Sorry.
I just wanted to speak to the substitute. I'm a former substitute in Connetquot, and the reason I left was because I applied for a few leave replacements. I applied for part-time jobs. I applied for full-time jobs, probationary positions. I was never even interviewed, and I was qualified for all of them. So I did leave, and I now work at Sable. And Sable does pay in the STEP program. It certainly is much higher.
Sorry we let a good one go.
I say it all the time. I say it all the time.
Just out of curiosity, can you tell me over what period of time this was? Was it recently in the last couple of years, or was it
Connetquot 2008 to 2013.
2008 to 2013?
And I worked at Sable from 2013 to now. This is my third year.
We
You
definitely
said
lost
you
a good one.
You were never interviewed?
At all?
Yeah, it's a shame.
That's
No,
it.
and when I called to say, please take me off the substitute list, whoever answered the phone said, oh, you got another job? I said, no, I didn't. Actually, the reason I'm leaving is because I've never been interviewed for a job. She said, okay.
And you applied for positions that were posted? Really?
So that's my experience.
Sad and lost.
I apologize on
No,
behalf
that's,
of
you don't have to
somebody.
apologize. I mean, it's all good. I'm just letting you know
Thank you.
that's one of the substitutes.
Thank you very much.
All right, sir, you're the last one for this time slot.
Did
the score change?
I'd like to quickly state what a job well done by the board tonight, recognizing the diversity of excellence in our district. So I don't get the good fortune of getting to as many of these board meetings as I'd probably like, but it certainly was a really great one because it wasn't just about one constituent group. It really kind of showed the diversity of excellence. So it's
I
all
agree with you
well done.
100%.
The gentleman, I don't think I'm supposed to use names, who does security, I feel like, he's in like 19 different places at once, because I'm pretty sure every event I go to,
Yes, he is.
he's at.
He's like Waldo.
He's right back there if you want to say hello.
I know who he is, but I don't want to
He's
break
standing
any
watching you
rules.
right now.
Sometimes you have to have the courage to lead, and I think that benchmarking is really pivotal in decision-making when you're charged with the fiduciary responsibility that you all are charged with. But sometimes when, we talk about what one of the board members stated about, there are some things that are, we call no-brainers in the decision-making process that pass the common sense test. But, there's a phased approach to building systems at work, and we talked about putting in the buzzers and putting in the new walls. I think you have to trust your experts that make a recommendation that at the end of the day, student welfare is number one priority. And while I may have an opinion, you don't have to listen to mine. I think we're charged with listening to the experts that we hire to do that job. And at the end of the day, sitting in the chair worrying all the time of what can go wrong, I like the fact that we have a phased approach and we're taking steps. So in my opinion, job well done by the support that you all are going to hopefully give to that. And I'm sure that Don will continue to, if he doesn't sleep at night, I sleep better. And at the end of the day, I think that's what we want in somebody leading us security. Obviously, those of you who have heard me talk, it's about the coaching piece a bit. And it appears as if we're making progress in the evaluation, and I think that you have to do your due diligence as well. And I heard the athletic director talk about the many points, and again, I have boys and girls in the district, and my profession is athletics and the intimacy of all the nuances of it. I also think it's important to talk about the cost-benefit analysis, and we can look at all the data, but there's also an investment in greatness. So while we look at numbers, and I'm in the midst of my 5th gender equity review at the intercollegiate athletics program, it's an arduous task. But there is something about excellence. Benchmarking, when we look at certain sports, the top 8 programs have it. So whatever everyone else is doing, I'm not quite sure. And we really have some great coaches here, and I think they do a great job of the diversity of it. No complaints there. The other piece is, if we're taking a holistic approach to it, it's got to be meshed also into strategy about, I promised 30 seconds more.
Yeah.
It needs to be consistent with the strategy of what we're trying to achieve. Now, I'm not here to debate. Again, I would love to see certain sports get them. I'm going to not, but that's the decision of the administrators of this organization. But we have 6. My question, a quick question is, when we voted to add the boys coaches that we needed the last time, did we look at the data that we're requesting now to make that decision? Or did we make that decision based on previous history of programs? And that's what I was told last week, that we made the decision, 2 weeks ago, to reinvest in programs that had modified programs. It wasn't based on enrollment, it was based on the fact that, well, we did that last time. It was the common practice.
Myself and 2 other board members, Ted and Lee, were on the board at the time. And I think I could say for the 3 of us that when Mr. Delacave approached us and said how vital it was to keep, that particular program running and add on the coach, I don't believe neither one of us questioned his judgment in it, and we supported it because more kids in school, less kids on the street, and I think that we share that same philosophy. We supported
I think that when we look at the sports that were added, coaches absolutely needed. Whether it's student athlete welfare, achieving excellence, positioning our student athletes and our coaches in a position for success. But I also, the piece of it for me is, I don't care if a team's 0-23 or if they're about to win a county championship or a state championship. It's about the strategy of positioning those programs for success. And the elementary way with the Mets in the World Series right now is to say, if we looked at baseball and we just said, they only need a head coach, it doesn't matter about numbers, that's not analyzing the fact that you need a first base coach, and that should not be a student, or it should be a third base coach, at least 2 coaches there. It's not just about the number. It's about the sport and what the intimacy of the experts telling us about the sport to position all those folks, those young people, for success. All right, my time's up.
Great, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate you.
Thank you.
Okay, so we're moving on to personnel matters, resignation, Schedule 1, resignation, terminations, leaves of absence.
Make a motion?
Second, all in favor?
Aye.
All right, moving on to appointments. Motion?
Motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is there anything in this? There's nothing in? Okay, all right, moving on to the consent agenda. Motion?
Second.
Okay, discussion?
Question.
It was Nick and Craig, right? Motions by both of you?
I seconded.
You seconded it? Craig, did you first?
On what?
Consent agenda.
No, I did not.
I'll take it.
Why wouldn't you
No,
second
I
it,
did
or you-
not.
Craig, Nick is gonna second it first. Okay. All right, any questions regarding these items?
Yes. Number
Yes,
11,
Ted?
number 11, number 13, are they a joint venture, or this just happened to be that they're both going at the same time?
No,
One's
one's
going in
May.
May, one's in November.
One's in May, one's in
Oh,
November.
May and November, okay, my bad.
It's the same date.
That's why I have to wear glasses now. Okay.
Anybody else have any concerns or questions?
Nope.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Does anybody,
Wait.
just out of curiosity, I'm just totally curious now that I've seen this. Do they travel on school buses or coach buses?
For number 11.
Just curious, for the trips to medieval times. Anybody know?
I think it's
It's out of
coach.
district, it's Jersey.
I think when my kids, it was the coach bus.
The OBMS trip
Yeah.
is due to the cost, they elected to do a half and half. So they'll do half coach buses and half school buses, and students will, so the students who ride in the coach bus on the way there will ride in the school bus on the way back.
Okay.
That's fair.
Okay. Does anybody know, do they do fundraising for these trips, or are they paying?
Usually parents pay for it.
Because that's, well, I know from experience, I run that trip for my sixth graders, it's a 50.
Ours are 30, it was $32.95.
Yeah, it's $30.25 for the ticket, but then the buses are. It's $50. Additional, okay, it's $50, right, yeah.
Is this gonna be?
That's good.
Medieval Festival, yeah.
That's good, it's a great program, it's a great,
Is it,
I just.
every year at the sixth grade? 'Cause, I mean, we've got fifth graders, and then they're gonna do it again in sixth grade.
no.
It's the first year that's, I think the sixth graders are going to.
Yeah.
medieval.
Can I'm not. Does anybody,
Just realizing one is fifth and sixth grade.
right, can I ask why the fifth graders are going?
It's job, different school.
Different school.
The
I
one's
get that,
elementary.
but
They feed
it's
into the
it's
other
part of the
schools.
sixth grade curriculum. The sixth grade curriculum is medieval Europe. That's why we go in sixth grade.
Well, are you gonna have the heart to say, no, they can't go on this trip?
Yeah,
Are they gonna go again next year?
I don't understand how it fits into the curriculum.
We don't need to vote on this, it's May.
I don't understand how it fits into the curriculum. It doesn't make any sense. They should be going in sixth grade when it fits into the curriculum when they're actually learning about medieval Europe.
And if they're gonna go again next year, then why?
And yeah, they're gonna go again next year in middle school. They're gonna go 2 years in a row to the same trip.
That's their problem.
So do you wanna pull this and we have it for further discussion, next agenda?
Then pull 11.
Not me.
We'll pull it. If there's hesitation here, we'll pull it.
I think we need to question why.
Just, yeah.
Tabling number 11.
Yeah, I think we can approve the OBMS trip.
Yes.
Because that's obviously in November, and it's a part of the sixth grade curriculum. So that's the reason they should be going. But I question the fifth grade trip and why they're going if it's not part of the fifth grade curriculum.
Okay, so, Lee, how do you feel about the fifth grade trip?
I wouldn't pull it, but that's only one voice.
Yeah, I'm only pulling it because, all right, so Ted, how do you feel?
Yeah, pull it because why, if they're gonna go again next year, then it doesn't make sense to go
That's
2
their
years.
choice.
I wouldn't,
That would
yeah, I
choose the
wouldn't micromanage how a school does their trips. And that's my personal opinion.
I mean, they can go someplace else.
I mean, we could definitely get more information, but I wouldn't question, as long as the kids are safe and it's.
Okay, then I'm not questioning the trip, I'm questioning how the principal's approving things that are not curriculum related.
How do you know they're not teaching it?
Because it's not part of the curriculum. I teach sixth grade, Lee. It's part of the sixth grade curriculum. I go on the trip every year. I organize the trip. I know.
All right, so you know what, we'll take.
Maybe the fifth grade teacher's throwing a little medieval in. I did a medieval festival for Iowa.
Well, they shouldn't be.
It was all elementary.
All right, so we'll table it until.
Well, then maybe we can ask those questions and find out. Maybe they are doing something
Who's paying
curriculum
for it?
related.
Why are they going?
All right, so I'm amending the resolution.
I don't know. You're asking
So
questions.
exclude
I'm
number
asking
11.
questions.
If we're paying for it, so-
It doesn't matter who's paying for it. It matters of whether it's appropriate for the kids to be
Okay,
doing it.
we're gonna pull it, we're gonna get more information on that. Does all in favor? We
Yes,
pulled-
aye.
Yeah, we pulled
Pulling.
11, unless you have something else.
So we're voting on the rest of it?
Yes,
All right.
we're in agreement with the rest, we're pulling,
Yeah,
just
fine.
pulling that one.
Just
Yep.
pull 11 and then 2 through 13 minus 11.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right, so now we're moving on to Board of Education committees.
Consent agenda.
Consent agenda, we had a mess, we didn't add any.
Well, we impaneled the BAC today, so that's really exciting. The other committees that aren't board committees but have already had their first meetings of the year, our steering committee met last Wednesday. They will meet the first Monday of every month at 5:30 in central office if anyone wants to join us. They were looking at trying to figure out the objective for this year that they wanted to discover and unearth. And so they're beginning to work on a survey that they're going to send out to all of our recent graduates that asks them what Connetquot High School did really well for them and what Connetquot High School left them needing help or their own development in college. So we're beginning, we want to look at if kids were college ready, college and career ready when they left the high school. So that's what the steering committee has begun to work on. The task force also met last Wednesday. They are speaking about having a school climate survey, which was the original intent of the task force as it came out of the incident that happened last year off school grounds. And they just want to be able to get a read on how kids and teachers and staff feel about the building and their safety and their security and how they feel engaged with the building. I'm actually going to be talking to the board probably next week or the next board meeting about potentially having a true school climate survey created for Connetquot High School so that we can have vetted and research-based data that we can work off of in building our positive behavioral intervention supports for the entire district. That will also meet on the first Monday of every month at central office, and that will meet at 7:15. The Graduate Profile Committee, which is the final committee of which I am a chair, will meet tomorrow for the first time this school year. They did amazing work, which is actually leading the other committees in their thinking and their scope of work as we begin to move into the new school year. That's okay.
I want to go back to taking a consensus on security guards for Don Flynn so he can sleep a little bit tonight, knowing that we are supporting him.
Not allowed to sleep.
All right, so number 5, a new business. I'm asking for a consensus. Lee?
Aye.
Ted?
Aye.
Nick?
Aye.
Sorry, Linda, I just wanted to make sure
I'm happy with that.
I want to make sure he's pacing very, quickly. I just want to make him calm a little bit.
Giving Don a bad rap.
Okay. Is it my turn for
Yes.
reports?
Yep.
Okay, my turn for reports. I do have to say that it was the very first time I'd ever been to the Newsday showcase of the bands, and it was spectacular. We were one of the last bands to go. We were one of the largest ones there. The talent level of our kids on that field, the dedication of the teachers, the ability that they have, you can see the love and the joy that the kids have, and it was just really amazing. It was a beautiful night. We got up to go in the press booth so we could see all their movements, and it was really incredible. We have begun in the district new teacher orientation, and we are continuing that through a continuing education series, which I think I would have absolutely no problem with inviting our subs, because I want to look at the mission statement, which said that it is our job to make sure that we're engaging kids in world-class, engaging pedagogy and lessons. And so it is a true calling for me to make sure that we are building the capacity of our new faculty. So I have no problem bringing the subs in to do those kind of things as well and build their own portfolio. We've had 2 meetings, and we will have another one, I believe, tomorrow with our new teachers and our teachers anyone who wants to join us is invited to join us. One of the things that I took away from the NYSBA convention, which I think is really powerful, and I'm going to request that the board decides how we want to do this, is called a board study group, where the board wants to look at a topic that the district is interested in discussing and working with, and picking one thing that they want to study and get questions from a variety of stakeholders. And the board would then decide what 2 or 3 questions they want the stakeholders to answer, bring those folks in as part of the discussion of like a planning session, and actually have all the different stakeholders report out to each other in that information gathering kind of session. So it's one of the things that I thought was really transparent, to be able to get different stakeholders in the group to answer questions for the board so that they can make more informed decisions from a variety of stakeholders. And I really thought it was a very powerful workshop, and there were 2 or 3 districts there that were doing it on a regular basis, twice a year, having one of these board study workshops on topics that were just coming up that are things that you want to discuss to bring to the district, or your programs that are already in the district, to see how people thought about them and what we could do to make them better. And that's all that I have.
Thank you. Bob, Dean, Sharon,
We're good.
Monica.
They're good.
You good?
They're looking for it.
Dean, are you good? I can't see you.
Yes,
Are you gonna water my plant?
I am, personally. Everybody's.
Dean, you're not going to talk about the technology conference you went to?
Yes, I could do that too. If I'd like. The Marching Band Festival was unbelievable. It was a great experience. It was my first opportunity as well. And to see the number of kids participating, but just not our musicians, but Kickline, our flag bearers, the students who are doing the conducting. It was absolutely amazing to see the size of the group and the amount of people that it takes to put this together. So it was very impressive. This past week we went to the technology, now I'm drawing a blank and I'm on video, thank you.
I'm sorry.
It's the
technology conference it was,
yeah, we
with
went
all
to a
educators.
technology conference. I know, I appreciate that. So the technology conference, it was
that in a loop.
several district administrators went. We had, I think, 5 teachers that also accompanied us. We went as a nice team. And I don't have the names. Each of them had opportunities to present and to view different workshops, what's going on in the classroom. It's getting abused right now. But I did have the opportunity to see Michael Panico present at one of the workshops.
I was impressed.
It was very impressive to see a 12th grade student sit there and be able to talk about his experience, his ideas about engineering, what things he's learned, what he's going to apply those tasks to, and to be able to field questions from not only teachers but administrators in the building. So it was impressive.
It's on YouTube.
You know anything about coding?
There was.
Yes.
There was a lot about coding.
She wouldn't let me go to it. I had to go to Michael's thing. So.
There was coding. No, he was talking about coding.
Yes, I know.
Dean, isn't there something coming up in a couple of weeks with the kids from Intel being invited to a STEM convention or program?
Yes, and I'm drawing a complete blank on that one as well.
I think, do you know about it, Linda? No. I remember reading an email on it that 4 students were invited along with Mr. Holloran and I think Mary Losing
Yes.
to attend a STEM convention or something like that.
It's a kind of a workshop sharing out, and they're going to present some of their ideas and listen to the findings and presentations of other groups.
Nice.
Do you know offhand where that's going to be held?
No, I'll try to find it right now.
Is this the first time that we've been invited to something like that? I don't recall. in the
I
past.
don't think so, but I can get more information for you.
Thank you. You don't have to find it. I have it in the email.
I think it's in the email that we got.
Yeah, I have it in
One
the
of,
email. I thought that was,
one
I
of the
thought it was,
FYIs.
I thought it was a great opportunity for,
It's definitely there, I read it.
for the children and for our school to be represented there. Board of Education, I know you guys had a fun-filled weekend.
Well, I could start by with marching band. That, when you went over and you talked to the kids, they were so respectful, and they were so thankful that we were there. They came down, they spoke to us, thank you for coming. They were proud of themselves, you saw smiles on their faces. So just seeing that was worth the trip. Kickline. The band, of course, is always amazing. Kickline put on such a show, and I don't know how they did some of the things they did because we were looking down.
Because they're young.
They were the Rockettes. They were the Rockettes. They were doing dance steps like the Rockettes would do. Their legs were going up. It was a thing the way going forward and back.
They have a fabulous coach.
It was amazing. It really was
Walters
impressive.
is a great coach.
So that was, I've been there before, I've done it before, but this year, those girls were spectacular. The band is always spectacular, but the girls were exceptional. We all went to the conference, and I'm gonna go back 10 years or 9 years. The only people that might have been at the board meeting then, might have been Gail or Deidre. And I bumped into this woman the last day. She's a superintendent of schools in East Syracuse. Years ago, I went to the convention. I met her. I was impressed by what she did. She couldn't come, but she Skyped. I don't know if any of you remember. She Skyped in saying she was getting ready to do STEM. What she did, she brought the whole community in. She had workshops, she had people groups, she had kid groups. It was amazing. She Skyped in, we spoke at a board meeting. the board poo-pooed it. I bumped into her at the convention 9 or 10 years later. Her school and 29 others, which she helped, are all going to Washington because of what they have done in the 10 years to make them where they are today. It breaks my heart because we could have been number 30 or number 2. What they did and what they're doing, I went to one of her classes last year. What they did last year in terms of the community, in terms of the businesses, it was so impressive. So I have her card. I'm going to ask the superintendent, can you pass this down, to please call her. We're allowed to go to the schools to see what they're doing. We have to step out of the box in order to get where we want to go. We can't do it by ourselves all the time. And if it's being done, and if it's being done right, why not grab onto it? I'm disappointed because 10 years later, we're nowhere when it comes to STEM. And
I wouldn't say that, Lee. I think...
Well, you have to understand. You have to have been there. You have to watch what they were doing. You had to see where they were coming from. You had to see how their community bought into it. It was a process. It was a 10-year process for them to be invited now to Washington. So, we're taking little steps, but I think if we can look at, some districts that are very successful, and she's willing to help us. So this is just in one area. We saw workshops up there this time that I think were worth our time. We saw Donald like this. We saw those little tags you put on kids' backpacks, the safety tags, when they got on the bus for the little ones. We saw a company that they spent a lot of time there talking to them, and so did Craig. There were a lot of things up there that we brought home. I still haven't gone through everything in my packet that could help us move forward. These trips might cost a lot of money, but I have to tell you, to bring some of this stuff back and to go forward with it, it's worth the money. I only wish there were more principals there, maybe more administrators there, because they're the ones that can make it happen. We can come back with X amount of stuff, pass it around, but they're the ones that make it happen. So, gentlemen?
Yeah, it was a great weekend. Definitely learned a lot. Saw a lot of good things that we can bring back to Connetquot. So we'll see. Hopefully we can.
I led the induction for Honor Society for Oakdale Bohemia Middle School, and it was a great privilege, and it was definitely an honor to be among those children. And I don't know if any of you had been to an Honor Society ceremony. It's beautiful. It's tastefully done. The children are respected and honored. It's great. It's a great time.
Tomorrow night is the Ronkonkoma.
Yes, tomorrow's Ronkonkoma, and they do a beautiful ceremony.
Just one more thing. At the convention, the last one I wanted to go to was closed, and then I walked in towards the end of it to Mr. Freeman. Remember, we all remember Mr. Freeman was here.
I have a note from him, too.
And he had a workshop, which if I would have realized it, I would have sent you guys to go, because
I'm going to the ASBO convention, and I'll see him 2 days in a row.
Okay, well, he was talking about emails, and that we should all have school emails, because all our emails are foilable. So what we can do, to make it honest, is maybe give our computers, from this year forward, to Pat Davis, and maybe he can download all those emails. Henceforward, if we use a CCSDLI, he doesn't have to do that. So if someone foils them, the information will be right there, because everything is foilable. So I don't know if we want to hand our computers in to have them print everything, and then change everyone's email.
Am I allowed to delete my emails? Because I don't keep my emails.
Well, they
I
have
read
it.
and
It's
delete.
on the server.
It's my personal email. So
Yeah.
when you put it on something like this, am I going to be a Hillary Clinton and delete?
Yeah, but then he can get it out of the server. Somehow he knows how to get them.
Have they been able to retrieve Hillary's emails?
Yeah.
I think some of them, not all of them.
I don't understand what you're...
Well, because
I don't understand what you're trying to say.
To have a CCSDLI account like that.
Why?
Maybe
What would
archived.
be the benefit of that?
as a board.
So when I say, let me see what
When you
Craig
write-
wrote
when you-
to
when the
Nick,
board-
I can get a
When the board
copy.
member starts writing to other board members, it's considered a meeting. Okay? And then if it's a meeting, it's all followable.
You know what, there's children's information on there, I mean,
That gets
That
redacted.
we redacted. There's many things that we redacted.
so those personal and private
They're
things would
trying to
be,
say if we had a school email,
Right.
then the administrators would be able to look at everything we're conversing.
And then if
No.
FOIL comes in and we want
Yeah,
Lee
then it'll be
Kennedy's,
AOL or Yahoo account.
any discussion on Lee Kennedy talking to the board about
Security.
security, they'll pull it up, and we have to give it to them. It's the law.
I'm fine with that.
So, you know, I mean, that was Mr. Freeman, that was.
That's why I created a separate account. I don't have, use my regular email.
That's smart.
It's a separate account that
So
does
I don't
all
know
board
if
stuff.
we want to, you know,
Don't
just
do anything
give
other
it
than board
to Don
activity in
Flynn.
there.
Would it be easier to
He can
have
just
it?
fill
Yeah, that'd be fine. It doesn't matter to me what it is.
Yeah,
It just
I'll-
should be separate.
I'll
I
talk
don't
about
use
Davis
it.
about it tomorrow morning.
I mean,
We can get you email accounts tomorrow.
okay.
That's not a big deal.
I do it separately. Is that reasonable?
Yeah. No, I'm just saying, I'm only gonna say what I learned.
Yeah.
I wish I had known he had a class, because it was a big room, and it was pretty well filled. You know, we could have him come here again too, if anyone wanted to, so we have new board members.
Take a look. You spent enough money.
Well, the only thing is a hotel room.
Is he coming for free? Because if he's not coming for free,
I'll spring for his
we've
hotel
spent
room.
enough money.
I think you could go
I
on
will.
this
He's
little
he's got
webinar.
a plethora of information.
All right, so we're moving on to public participation.
All right.
Anyone who'd like to speak? Good evening.
Hello.
We should have the overachievers here on a night when I have to pay my taxes.
Ah, there you go, that's a good
God
idea.
bless them. Kudos to you, Linda. I'm finally coming up a way of getting some feedback from our graduates about the job that we did, because the colleges seem to have different standards, as you know, and whether they're just looking for money on remedial this and remedial that, I don't know. My son had to take a remedial course in conversation for the language that he passed here. I think the college just wanted
Yes.
money.
Absolutely. Some of that is that.
I live near the high school. The marching band is better than ever. Okay, but the low-level security lights have been on, even in the rain, to about 10 o'clock, every night, night after night. Are we having a security problem at the high school?
That was actually a request by the public in order for our adults in our community to be able to walk the tracks at night.
Okay, now I have a reason.
That's why it's just the lower lights, not
Just the lower lights.
Right.
No.
Just to illuminate for people to walk.
Okay, I didn't know about that. Not the big lights like
Yeah.
one that we have again.
Yeah, those are supposed to be on.
Okay, just the lower lights, which were originally designed as exit lights, so as not to use the full power of the stanchions.
You will not
Okay.
catch me walking at that time of night, Ed, don't worry about it.
I don't walk at that hour.
No.
I don't know if they should be on the rain. I don't know if they should be on the rain, but I guess they're on every night. It's on a timer. They're on a timer.
Yeah, they go off about 10 o'clock.
Yeah.
No, but the low-level lights, that's okay.
Yeah.
I thought
just the
maybe-
lower level.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the low level.
And they'll be on until about mid-December, and then we'll turn them back on in May for
Okay.
or April for our public to walk again.
That's a good
We
reason.
want to keep everybody healthy.
I have no complaint with that.
Okay.
Community involvement.
No, they want to walk the track at night, fine. My doctor says I have to walk, but I'm not going to walk at night.
Yeah, I'm with you.
Okay, I can't think of anything else at the moment. Thank you for your
Thank
patience.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Hey, Dan. All right, on the consent agenda, you had two contracts. I'm just going to read my list because I have a lot to talk about on the consent agenda. East Islip and Sachem lists a Schedule A and B, and they were not on there on the website either. I know Schedule A is usually a confidential one, but Schedule B is usually the pricing and all that.
Student names.
It wasn't on
Student names.
Student names.
on A, but on B it's not, and you can redact the names, and that has all the pricing, I thought. Okay, all right, well, they weren't on there. UCP and DDI, there was no cost on those two contracts that were up on the website, on the board docs?
Yep. Those are, New York State Education Department reformatted their contracts. So So it was, they were reformatted, so there was no additional cost. It was just that New York State had changed their format for that. So we had to reapprove it.
So, oh, okay, all right, so it's the same as the old one. There's a music academy, I'm gonna go back to that one. Field main supplies, there was a bid extension request, but there's no information on the original bid, so again, no cost on there. Then there was a thing about surplus, and there was a couple of times we've had surplus items. I just wanted to know, like, how are those sold? Do we get money back for those? Do they go to auction? Like, what happens with that stuff, or does it sit in the basement? I don't know. The trips you guys already answered. The Music Academy. So I saw that, and I'm not against it, just want to put that out there. But is that a new contract? Have we ever had a Music Academy there before? Is it like an experimental thing? Is this for like private insurance? And what qualifies a student to get those services? So that's a big question that I had on that.
Monica, can you answer that?
I can say it's related to a student within the district and a recommendation made to CSE.
Okay.
So it's just one student gets that, and it's not covered through private insurance? That would, like, because that's new, right?
It's therapeutic services.
Okay, so all right, I'm not sure how that all works, so I'll talk to.
Recommended in the CSE.
What's that?
Yeah, it's
Gotta
a recommended
cover by the
service in the
district.
CSE.
Okay.
That'd be
All
covered by
right.
the district.
Okay, I'm fine with it, I didn't know what it was. I also got an email forwarded to me, because I'm on the council board, and it was about the Budget Advisory Committee, and of course I didn't bring my glasses, but I saw the Budget Advisory Committee and the charge, and it's 4 little things here. I'm sure you guys can see it, it's 4 little things. And then I looked at the operational procedures, and it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 things on the operational procedures. But what concerned me the most was I saw the mission statement, and it says, the new mission statement says, through strong community partnerships. And then in the last thing it says, the Board of Education reserves the right to rescind the appointment of any committee member who does not comply with the official charge. I mean, it just sounds like we're not following the mission statement when we have 10 things that you have to follow, and I mean, if you looked at some of these rules, they're a little harsh. I like the Budget Advisory Committee, obviously, I think that's a great idea. But I think that your operational procedures are a little bit too harsh, especially if you're going to put out a mission statement that says, through strong community partnerships. We want to partner, the parents want to be there, they want to do this, and they don't want to be stepped on with all these rules and regulations. So I want to put that out there. And finally, I just want to say, you guys are all volunteers. I know what it's like to be a volunteer. And whether or not we agree all the time, I do appreciate that you guys do this job that you're doing for free for our community. So thank you.
Thank you, Eileen.
That's it.
Any new scores? 3-3 in the 7th.
Oh, wow. Yes, Gail, my darling.
Oh my God.
I don't want
That's
to end
exciting.
the evening on a serious or a strong note, but Nick said it before. Tonight, you guys committed a lot of money, and I'm not saying I'm against any of it. I'm in favor of additional security, and I like, having the assistant coaches with the girls. The substitutes, we need them. We have too many classes at the high school that are canceled, and kids are sitting in the auditorium or in the cafeteria doing nothing because there are no subs. Those subs have to have plans to teach something, otherwise it's just the same as having no sub. But tonight, we've spent about $300,000. If you figure $100,000 in subs and $180 for security and another $28 on coaches.
Well, subs we've always been spending.
But we didn't commit to subs at this point. We didn't commit to changing the salary.
Yeah, there's nothing changed on
We
that.
just began the opening discussion, so there's been no commitment to that yet.
Okay, assuming that there will be, because we do need subs. We need, whether they be permanent subs or just people to cover the classes or an increase in
But
pay
it's gonna
to
be
draw them
spent.
in, whatever it is. It's $300,000 that we committed tonight, and the Budget Advisory Committee is being formed, and next year we're going to be held to the same 2% cap that we were held to this year and last year. And I'm concerned that if we implement all of these things, and again, I'm not saying we shouldn't, but with all the added administrative positions that we put in place this past year, I don't want to have to cut programs to make up for all these things. We were lucky last year that we got $1.4 million after the budget was voted on. So that was play money. We got it and we're spending it. But we can't sustain that because we may not have it next year. And our state aid, there's no guarantee we're even going to get the same state aid next year that we got this year. And I don't want to see us, sitting around cutting programs and not fixing playgrounds for our existing students because we've done all these other things. And I just think the board needs to remember that now that budget season is here.
But like you just said, Gail, right, that those things that we did approve, we have to, right?
You had no choice in those.
Yeah. You
No,
just
Gail,
said you would do the same thing.
the amount of administration staff, it appears that we hired a lot, but we really didn't hire a lot because we let people retire, we replaced them. There really actually aren't many new bodies, positions. So it appears that we're spending a lot more money than we really are in that area. I understand what you're saying in terms of spending that come out, it's a far cry from having to close John Pearl, right? But there's a lot more money than there was.
Or Idle
Or Idle or both.
Or Prem, yeah.
Right,
Yeah.
right. So I think right now we're very secure. We can't continue, but I think we have to put everything in place. We have the money to do that, to make it right, to go forward.
I think what I'm saying is not on the backs of our students.
Right.
I don't want to be cutting programs to make up for that.
Totally understand what you're saying.
We agree with
We
that.
agree with that. It's something that we would not want to ever
Yeah.
have to do. We're not for
I'm not in
cutting
favor of cutting any programs. Okay, I think we can call it a night, people.
Seventh inning.
Motion to adjourn?
Three.
We adjourning or
Motion.
we're done, we don't have to go
Yeah, we're done.
Make a motion to adjourn, make a motion.
Second? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Good night, everybody.
Thanks for
Thank you
coming.
coming.
Good showing.
Yes.
We just need to keep everyone.